He is a humble security guard and an unparalleled master, with a life full of legends. One midnight, he was suddenly hugged by his arrogant, drunken female boss, only to be insulted and scorned by her, calling him a poor loser. Chapter 1, The Boss's Text Message. Jongdong, East Sea Hotel, Private Room 608. Get here immediately. In the staff dormitory, Jongdong stared at his phone in surprise. The message was from Xu Wanqing, the beautiful vice president of his company. Why would she ask a security guard like him to come over in the middle of the night? Maybe she sent it by mistake. Unsure, he called her, but no one answered. Yet if he ignored the message and something happened to her, what then? After some thought, he reluctantly took a cab to the location Xu Wanqing had sent. As he entered the room, he saw a woman in a deep V dress leaning against a chair, holding a wine glass, her impressive 30-60 chest on full display. Wanqing, your fiancé is coming back tomorrow, it's a big deal. Here, let me toast you again, said the woman, just as Jongdong walked in. She paused in surprise, then shouted, Who are you? Who let you in? Don't you know how to knock? Jongdong recognized her. It was Xu Wanqing's close friend, Lin Minute. He'd seen her at the company often enough to know her. Hello, Miss Lin. I'm Jongdong, security from Xu Group. Miss Xu sent me a message to pick her up. Lin Minute turned to Xu Wanqing with a laugh. Wanqing, wasn't he tonight supposed to be your last night as a single woman? Why did you call security to pick you up? Xu Wanqing was drunk, but not entirely unconscious. She slurred, who said I called security? I didn't. Oh, please. Look at yourself, you're so drunk you can't even stand. Jongdong felt a bit awkward. She was seriously drunk. Miss Xu, you're drunk. I'll take you home. Usually, Xu Wanqing was icy and unapproachable, her goddess-like face earning her the nickname Ice Queen because of her cold attitude toward everyone. Don't touch me. Xu Wanqing slapped his hand away, looked up at him, and sneered, Jongdong, how did you get here? Who told you to come? You called me yourself, did you forget? Lin Minute shrugged and handed Xu Wanqing another glass. Come on, drink up if you can still handle it. Xu Wanqing looked at the wine and downed it in one gulp. Pour more, she demanded, but immediately threw up, covering Jongdong in vomit. Jongdong wanted to cry. That was his new uniform, which cost a couple $100. Lin Minute wrinkled her nose in distaste. I knew you couldn't handle it. Fine, let us call it a night. You'd better head home. Xu Wanqing slumped in her chair, eyes closed. No, I'm not going back. Lin Minute sighed, covering her nose as she looked at Jongdong. Well, if she doesn't want to go home, take her to her room upstairs. She has a room booked here. Who's going to take care of her tonight? Jongdong asked. Miss Lin, can you? No way. I'm so dizzy I can barely stand. Lin Minute stumbled, grabbed Xu Wanqing's bag, and tossed it to him. The room key is inside. With a sigh, Jongdong realized he'd have to do it himself. Lin Minute was in no condition to look after anyone. Holding back his frustration, he helped the thoroughly drunk Xu Wanqing up, practically carrying her. Let go of me, I can still drink, she mumbled. He rolled his eyes. How much more did she want to drink? She was already nearly unconscious. People who couldn't hold their liquor were always a hassle, man or woman, even if they were ice-cold beauties. As Jongdong helped Xu Wanqing into the elevator, he didn't notice Lin Minute watching him closely, her eyes flashing as she discreetly took out her phone. Soon, Jongdong found the presidential suite Xu Wanqing had booked. Staying there for a night would cost him a month's salary, yet for her, it was just a casual expense. Laying her on the bed, he noticed her clothes were soaked with wine, her white shirt revealing a hint of the red lingerie beneath. Jongdong swallowed. He thought about helping her change into a bathrobe but quickly changed his mind. No, he'd lose his job if he tried something so foolish. If she woke up and found herself disheveled, what would she think? After a quick shower to clean himself up, he rinsed his clothes and hung them by the air conditioning to dry. Meanwhile, Xu Wanqing, feeling uncomfortable in her sticky clothes, unconsciously reached to unbutton her shirt. Hot, so hot, water, I need water. Hearing her, Jongdong hurriedly poured a glass, but when he returned, she had already taken off quite a bit herself. Whoa! He froze, stunned by the sight. Her curves were mesmerizing, enough to drive anyone crazy at a glance. He quickly draped a blanket over her. "Miss Xu, here's some water." Carefully, he helped her drink, but the next second, she opened her eyes, her gaze dazed and intense, her cheeks flushed. Zhang Dong was startled. "I didn't undress you, Miss Xu. Your clothes, it wasn't me." "Come here," she demanded. "Miss Xu, your clothes." "I said, come here." Xu Wanqing, suddenly seeming more awake than before, was clearly still intoxicated. But maybe some people did act more excitable when drunk. "If you don't come here, don't bother coming to work tomorrow, and forget about your paycheck." "All right, I'll come, but please. Now," she ordered. Reluctantly, Zhang Dong moved closer. As soon as he was beside the bed, Xu Wanqing pulled him down, pressing him beneath her. Zhang Dong was stunned. "Miss Xu, you." Her lips silenced him as he tasted the mix of wine and lipstick, and his brain went blank. But he knew that if he continued, he'd be in real trouble. Suddenly, he pushed her away. Before he could react, Xu Wanqing slapped him hard across the face. "Sleeping with me is an honor for you. If you dare talk back, I'll make sure you can't stay in East Sea anymore." Zhang Dong's cheek stung, his temper flaring. Even a saint would have limits. He took charge, with Xu Wanqing taunting, "Is that all you've got?" Alone in the room, tensions high, Zhang Dong lost his reservations. "You're asking for this." And with that, he threw caution to the wind. Chapter 2, The Woman in the White Dress. The next morning, Zhang Dong was still in deep sleep when a loud scream jolted him awake. He opened his eyes just in time to receive a slap across his face. "Pervert! Why are you in my room?" Zhang Dong, exhausted from the night before, was finally getting some rest. This slap ignited his anger immediately. But as he saw the furious expression on Xu Wanqing's face, along with the bruises covering her body, he calmed himself. Before he could explain, Xu Wanqing kicked him. "Get out! Get out of here!" Tears silently trickled down her face, staining the pure white sheets with little red spots, piercing her heart. The marks all over her body made her wish she could kill the man before her. And the worst part? She recognized him by his uniform was the lowest-ranked security guard in her company. Knowing he was in the wrong, Zhang Dong said nothing more. He grabbed his uniform hanging by the air conditioner and started dressing. "Do you not remember what happened last night? Anyway, I'm not the type who avoids responsibility. Don't worry, I will." "What? What will you do?" Xu Wanqing cut him off. "I'm your high-ranking vice president, and my fiancé is Zhu Haoran, the eldest son of the Zhu family. And you? You're just a lowly security guard. We're from entirely different worlds. Do you really think you can use this to cling to me?" Zhang Dong realized that no matter what he said, it wouldn't help, so he silently dressed and handed her the uniform he'd washed the night before. "You threw up all over yourself, so I washed it for you." Xu Wanqing looked at the wrinkled clothes in disgust. "Get out. I don't want to see you. And remember, keep last night a secret. Otherwise, I'll make your life miserable. I'll have the finance department give you a few extra months' pay. Just pack up and leave Xu Corporation." Zhang Dong chuckled bitterly to himself. She was right. He was just a lowly guard, and last night meant nothing more than a one-night stand. He really wasn't in her league. Once he was gone, Xu Wanqing glanced at the bright red stain on the sheets, a painful reminder of her lost innocence. Her body ached from the events of the night, and the scars served as a constant reminder of what she had endured. For 28 years, she had kept herself pure, only to be defiled by a lowly security guard whose name she didn't even know. Worse, she'd been betrayed by her childhood best friend. It had to be the wine from last night. Xu Wanqing had always had a high tolerance. She couldn't have gotten drunk from just one glass. Just then, her phone rang. Suppressing her emotions, she answered with a calm tone. "Wanqing, are you up yet? How was your sleep last night? I can't believe you got so drunk off just a little wine I couldn't even move you." In a cold voice, Xu Wanqing replied, "Why did you do it?" Seeing that she'd been found out, Lin Mn dropped the pretense and scoffed. "Why? Because I'm more suited to be with Haoran." Xu Wanqing frowned. "If you like him, I could stepped aside. You knew I was only engaged to Zhu Haoran out of family obligation." Lin Mn scoffed, "Does it matter? Haoran only has eyes for you. I can't understand what he sees in you that he doesn't see in me. Well, it doesn't matter now. You've been tainted by a security guard, and soon Howran will find out. Take care of yourself. Lin Mn hung up, leaving Xu Wanqing drained, lying lifelessly on the bed. The moment she woke up, she'd known she'd been set up and that the guard was innocent. She was familiar with Howran's ruthlessness and didn't want to drag an uninvolved person into this mess, so she fired him immediately. But as she thought about all she had endured, Xu Wanqing could no longer hold it in. She curled up on the bed, her body racked with sobs. Meanwhile, Zhang Dong was riding his second-hand motorbike back to his rented apartment. He had just gone to the company's HR department to resign. 3 years earlier, he had retired from the army and returned to his hometown in Donghai, working as a security guard and trying to live a normal life. He hadn't expected to get involved in something so ridiculous. Looking back, he realized Xu Wanqing must have been drugged. However, it didn't matter anymore. He had already been fired, and even if he wanted to take responsibility, she would only think he was trying to take advantage of her. Just as Zhang Dong was lost in thought, a van sped past him. With his military training and keen instincts, he immediately noticed a woman struggling inside. The van was pulling ahead, but Zhang Dong's sense of duty kicked in. He accelerated and managed to cut off the van in traffic, forcing it to a stop. A man rolled down the window and cursed at him, "Are you insane? Do you even know who you're blocking?" Zhang Dong, bracing his motorcycle with one foot, calmly asked, "I just saw a woman inside, and she didn't look like she was with you willingly." The man sneered, "Have you read too many detective novels? Look at your security guard uniform. Do you think this is any of your business?" Zhang Dong remained firm. "I'm not sure, but I've already called the police. I'll hold you here until they arrive." The leader cursed, "We've run into a fool. Teach him a lesson. Break his legs and toss him aside." 3 or 4 burly men got out of the van, surrounding Zhang Dong. One of them smirked, "Kid, we're in a hurry, so we'll give you a little lesson. Next time, check yourself before meddling in other people's business." As he threw a punch, Zhang Dong sidestepped and countered with a swift kick, knocking the man to the ground. The other 2 men exchanged nervous glances before lunging at him, only to end up on the pavement as well. The leader, frustrated, cursed, "Useless. You're all useless." He pulled out his phone, but before he could make a call, Zhang Dong stepped over, grabbing it and throwing it to the ground. The man paled, "Look, you don't want to mess with me, or I'll." "You can go," Zhang Dong said, stepping aside. "I don't want trouble. Just let the woman out." The man hesitated, glanced back at the woman inside, then left, hurling one last threat as he walked away. Once he was gone, Zhang Dong opened the van door and untied the woman's hands, pulling off the tape covering her mouth. She was a young woman in her 20s, even though her white dress was stained, she still looked graceful and beautiful. "Thank you for saving me," she said, her voice full of gratitude. Zhang Dong shook his head. "It was nothing. You're safe now. You should head home." The woman looked at him pleadingly. "I was brought here from out of town. I don't have anywhere to go. Can you let me stay for a few days?" Feeling sympathy for her, Zhang Dong replied, "I only have a small 1-bedroom apartment with 1 bed. If you don't mind, you can stay for 2 days, and I'll sleep on the couch." The woman's face lit up. "Thank you. I don't mind at all." Zhang Dong nodded and helped her onto his motorbike. As they rode toward his apartment, the woman discreetly took out her phone and sent a message. "I was almost kidnapped by Hui Hao's people. I'm safe now. Take care of this. Eliminate everyone involved." Chapter 3, Framed by a Best Friend. 10 minutes later, Zhang Dong brought the woman back to the rental house. The 1-bedroom and 1 living room was only about 40 square meters, but Zhang Dong had tidied it up neatly and meticulously. Especially when the girl saw that the bedding on Zhang Dong's bed was broken into pieces, she turned around and blinked. "Brother, are you a soldier?" Zhang Dong did not hide it and nodded, "Before." Then he took out a short-sleeved shirt and shorts that he brought back when he was discharged from the army from his clothes cabinet. "I don't have clothes that girls can wear at home, so you have to make do with it for now." The girl took the clothes that Zhang Dong handed over and smiled knowingly, "Okay." After a while, the sound of running water came from the bathroom, and Zhang Dong sat on the sofa and felt uneasy. It was really a bit strange to have a woman in the house all of a sudden. So Jong Dong took some vegetables out of the refrigerator and went to the kitchen to cook. After the two simple vegetables were fried, the girl had finished her bath and sat on the sofa watching TV. The woman was wearing a set of military green shorts, which could not hide her two long white legs, which had a special flavor. Jong Dong only glanced at her and then looked away, inviting the woman to the living room for dinner. I'm used to living alone at home, so I eat simple food. Just make do with it. Hee, I'm not picky. The woman started to eat without hesitation, chewing the food and asked, "Brother, you haven't told me your name yet." Jong Dong. Oh, my name is Yang. Oh, you can call me by my nickname, Yang. Jong Dong nodded, that's easy to remember. After you finish eating, go to your room and sleep, and then you can go back to your place for the next few days. I'll help you book the train ticket. Okay, let's talk about this later. Yang replied perfunctorily, and laughed and teased, Jong Dong, I'm only in my early 20s now, and I think you're almost 40. It's a bit unfair to call you big brother, so I'll call you uncle. Jong Dong ate his meal. It's all right, you can call me whatever you want. By the way, you look a bit like a friend of mine before, and he also likes to call me uncle. Har, that's fine, uncle, what job do you do now? Yang asked casually. I don't have a job. I was a security guard at Shoes Group, but I was fired today. Puff. Yang almost spit out a mouthful of rice. You are so miserable, what are your plans next? Jong Dong thought for a while and said helplessly, I may give up this house and go back to the old city to accompany my sister. As for work, I can do barbecue or something. Yang gave Jong Dong a thumbs up, I admire you. After the two finished their meal, Jong Dong took a blanket and slept on the sofa in the living room, leaving the bedroom to Yang. Let's go to bed first. We are both miserable people. We will talk about it tomorrow. Before going to bed, Jong Dong said this, and Yang's voice came from the room, okay, Uncle Tilder. After speaking, Yang's eyes were shining, and he took out his mobile phone and sent a message, investigate Shoes Group for me. Just when they were eating, Yang heard Jong Dong say that he was fired from the security guard job at Shoes Group. 5 minutes later, Yang received a detailed report email in his mobile mailbox. The next day. Jew Group office. Lin Minute sat on the chair with an aggrieved look. Brother Howren, I don't believe that Sister Wanching is such a person. I was just worried that the security guard of Sister Wanching's company would take advantage of me, so I went to check the surveillance. I didn't expect that the security guard didn't come out all night and walked out of the hotel the next morning. After watching the video, Jew Howren threw the water cup in his hand to the ground, bitch. He seemed to feel that he was provoked, and a trace of ferocity flashed across his expression. Call Shu Wanching and ask her to appear in my office within 10 minutes, otherwise the entire Shu family will not be able to survive in Donghai. I know, Brother Howren. Lin Minute pretended to be submissive, but she was very happy in her heart. This was exactly what she wanted. Lin Minute called Shu Wanching in front of Jew Howren. 20 minutes later, Shu Wanching in a blue dress appeared in Jew Howren's office. She is still so dazzling. She is just a girl, but she shoulders the responsibility of the family. The Shu family relied on the Jew family to get up. If the support of the Jew family is cut off, the Shu family is very likely to go bankrupt. Therefore, the Shu family ignored Shu Wanching's thoughts and directly sent Shu Wanching to Jew Howren to ask for a marriage contract. Selling a daughter for fame. At this time, Shu Wanching looked at Jew Howren's angry face, and saw Lin Minute was also here. She knew what happened in her heart, but she could only play it by ear. Howren, what happened? Why do you look so ugly? Jew Howren took a deep breath and half squinted his eyes. What is the matter? You still have the face to ask. Explain to me what is going on. Jew Howren played his mobile phone video and threw it on the table. Shu Wanching picked up the phone and took a look. Her heart sank. It was really the video of the security guard helping her into the hotel the night before yesterday. I drank with Lin Minute the night before yesterday. I was drunk and asked the security guard to help me go home. Is there any problem with that? Jew Howren laughed angrily. What a help you go home, this help lasts for a whole night. What happened in the room that night? Shu Wanching's eyes flashed with a trace of guilt, but she insisted, nothing happened. I drank too much and slept on the bed. The security guard was afraid that something would happen to me in the middle of the night, so he made do with me on the sofa for a night. When he woke up the next morning and saw that I was fine, he left. Xu Wanqing's words were well reasoned, and her face was not red, which surprised Zhu Haran. Are you telling the truth? Xu Wanqing nodded heavily. Of course it's true. Don't you even believe me? Or do you think I can look down on a scumbag security guard in the company? Hearing this, Zhu Haran was silent for a moment, and the expression on his face was somewhat eased. At this time, Lin Minute was anxious and stood up to refute. Impossible, this is absolutely impossible, they must have slept together in the hotel. Xu Wanqing frowned slightly. Why are you so sure? Did you do something, or did you install a camera in the hotel room in advance? Lin Minute shook his head frantically. I didn't do anything, but Brother Haran, you can call the security guard over to confront him. The security guard must know everything. Zhu Haran felt that what Lin Minute said made sense, and looked up at Xu Wanqing. Where is the security guard in your company? Call him over too. Xu Wanqing felt a little uneasy, but still looked normal. The security guard was forced to go with me because he took care of me. We lived in the same room, but I still found him disgusting. I fired him. I don't know where he is now. You are lying. Lin Minute was hysterical. You must have fired him because he slept with you. You just want to die without any evidence. Xu Wanqing shrugged casually. Anyway, I have explained the matter clearly. It is easy to find excuses to accuse someone. Believe it or not. Lin Minute wanted to say something, but Zhu Haran suddenly interrupted. Okay, I think I have understood this matter in my mind. Don't say it anymore. Zhu Haran waved at Xu Wanqing. Come here. Xu Wanqing didn't know what Zhu Haran wanted to do, frowned, but still came over. Zhu Haran patted his thigh. Sit down. Why? I asked you to sit down. Zhu Haran suddenly added a few more words. Xu Wanqing still stood there without moving. Zhu Haran chuckled and waved to Lin Minute. You go back first, I have something to talk to Wanqing alone. Lin Min's eyes flashed with jealousy, but he still said, Goodbye, Brother Haran. Thinking that he must leak the video inadvertently. After Lin Minute walked out and closed the door, Zhu Haran suddenly increased his strength and forcibly pulled Xu Wanqing into his arms. At the same time, a big hand wandered on Xu Wanqing's smooth back, sneering, Why don't you understand what I say now? Chapter 4, Selling Her Daughter for Glory. Xu Wanqing's eyes were filled with intense disgust as she struggled to free herself from Zhu Haran's grip, but she couldn't move. Zhu Haran. Let go of me. Zhu Haran sneered, Let go of you? We're getting engaged tomorrow night. Soon, we'll be a family, why can't I touch you? Xu Wanqing bit her lip, resisting fiercely. Until we're married, don't even think about it unless I'm dead. Her defiance only infuriated Zhu Haran further. He tightened his grip, his eyes blazing. Dead? The security guard can spend the night in the same room with you, but your fiancé can't. I'm booking a room right now. You're coming, like it or not. Xu Wanqing panicked, struggling even more. Haran, not today, please. I'm on my period. Oh, really? Zhu Haran sneered. How convenient that it didn't start while you were with the security guard, but it shows up now with me. Fine. If it's true, show me. Take off your skirt, and if you're not lying, I'll let you go. Are you serious? Zhu Haran nodded. Absolutely. Xu Wanqing's lips quivered. Fine. Let go of me, and I'll do it. Seeing her compliance, Zhu Haran got excited and let her stand. Xu Wanqing slowly reached under her skirt, lifting it bit by bit, exposing her long, pale legs, and Zhu Haran's eyes filled with desire. But just as he was distracted, Xu Wanqing seized the moment, turned, and bolted out of the office. Zhu Haran was caught off guard and yelled, Stop her. But Xu Wanqing was too quick. Giving up the chase, Zhu Haran slumped into his chair, enraged, and made a phone call. Meanwhile, Xu Wanqing had reached the basement, gotten into her Ferrari, and received a call from Zhu Haran. Xu Wanqing, I'm warning you, come back now, or your Xu family won't be able to withstand my wrath. Escaped from his clutches, Xu Wanqing was also furious. Zhu Haran, enough. Besides threatening me, what else can you do? Even the mildest person has a breaking point. Zhu Haran, even a rabbit bites when cornered. Yes, the Zhu family is powerful, but I'm not afraid of you. Remember, it's the Xu family who wants to curry favor with you, not me, Xu Wanqing. If you want me, wait until we're officially married, and I'll have no objections. But until then, show some respect. Oh, really? Ju Haoran laughed angrily. I underestimated you. A piece of trash that has already been used by a mere security guard, pretending to be pure? If I say I'll ruin your family, believe me, I'll do it. Do as you please. Whatever you're capable of, go ahead. With that, Xu Wanqing hung up, gripping the steering wheel tightly, trying to steady her breathing. She knew Ju Haoran's true nature all too well. After gathering her composure for a few minutes in the car, Xu Wanqing received a call from her cousin, Xu Chao, angrily demanding she come home immediately. Frustrated, Xu Wanqing sighed, "Fine, I'll be there." Upon arriving at the Xu family villa, she found relatives gathered together. In the center was her grandmother, the chairwoman of the Xu Corporation. Though she seldom went to the office, she still held a firm grip on the company's major affairs. Her uncle, Xu Jinxiong, was the general manager, and his wife, Huang Jing, was the vice president of finance, effectively controlling the company. Xu Wanqing's parents, on the other hand, had minimal influence. As soon as Xu Wanqing walked in, her aunt Huang Jing snapped, "You insolent girl. Kneel." Xu Wanqing met her aunt's gaze, unfazed. "Aunt, what did I do wrong? Do you even have to ask?" Her aunt scoffed, taking out her phone and playing a video. The eldest daughter of the Xu family, about to be engaged to the eldest son of the Zhu family, and yet you got involved with a security guard at such a time. Are you out of your mind? Taking a deep breath, Xu Wanqing replied calmly, "I've already explained it to Ju Haoran. I had too much to drink, and the guard took me to their hotel. He stayed the night on the sofa, just to ensure my safety. What else do you want?" Her mother, Qin Xianglian, stepped forward to defend her. "Yes, I believe my daughter. I raised her, I know her character." Her uncle Xu Jinxiong scoffed, "Alone in a room with a man, what else could happen? Even if Wanqing is trustworthy, what about a security guard? Do you know what people are saying about us now? They say our Xu family doesn't deserve the Zhu family and that we've raised a shameless daughter." The word shameless stung Xu Wanqing deeply. Was this how a senior member of her family should speak? "You've brought shame on our family." Aunt Huang Jing glared at Xu Wanqing's father. "Look at the disgrace your daughter has caused. She has tainted our family's name and brought us to shame." Xu Jianhong, her father, dared not speak a word, remaining anxious and silent. Xu Wanqing looked at him in disappointment. "Are you done? Why did you call me here? If it's to blame me, I'll return to work." As she turned to leave, Xu Jinxiong shouted, "Is this how you speak to your elders? Do you know who just called me? Ju Haoran. He said that if you don't go to the hotel he reserved tonight, he'll withdraw all support for the Xu family's business. The company will collapse." Xu Wanqing stopped, her sharp gaze turning to her uncle. "So, what do you want me to do? Go, or not?" "Of course, you should go. Wanqing, you're getting engaged tomorrow. This sort of thing is inevitable between a couple, it's just a day early. So I should trade myself for the Xu family's survival." Xu Wanqing laughed coldly. "Uncle, you really know how to act as an elder." Her uncle's face darkened. Huang Jing quickly added, "Xu Wanqing, you're just a daughter, destined to marry out. The family has raised you for over 20 years, and you refuse to give back? I thought you'd have some gratitude, but you're nothing but an ungrateful ingrate." Ungrateful? An ingrate? Xu Wanqing had single-handedly supported Xu Corporation through its roughest times. The only profitable project in the entire company was hers. She had relied on no one else. She had brought the Xu family to its current success, yet she received no acknowledgement, only demands. To her uncle and aunt, she was nothing but a pawn, to be sacrificed for family benefit at any moment. Before she could respond, Xu Jinxiong coldly interrupted, "Enough. Haoran said he'll forgive you if you go to their hotel tonight and pretend this never happened. A man like him is hard to come by. It's settled, I'll call a car to take you over. You're going, whether you want to or not." Chapter 5, Sent to their hotel. Qin Xianglian was a little anxious. "Brother, let's talk it over nicely. We are all family, don't get angry." Xu Jinxiong shook his hand and sneered, "I treat her as my niece, but she doesn't treat me as her uncle." Xu Wanqing gritted her teeth, her eyes revealing a sneer. Is there an uncle who sells his niece for fame? 3 years ago, the Zhu family was just a second-rate family, not even the top one in Donghai. Although our Xu family is not a top celebrity. But you are also well known in Donghai. In order to win the Zhu family's project, you even brought people to beg me to marry Zhu Haoren. I am a human being, I have feelings, I am not a commodity. Later, Zhu Haoren rose to power, and you told everyone you met how wise you were in the past and how you brought a bright future to the Shu family. But in the eyes of others, your so-called wisdom is so stupid and ridiculous. Shu Jinxiong's eyes were a little evasive, but more of it was anger. Shu Wanqing, the Shu family has worked hard to train you, so what if you have suffered a little injustice? This is what you should do. As a member of the Shu family, you should be ready to contribute to the family at any time. Okay, I won't say any more nonsense. Do you want to go to their hotel by yourself or do you want me to ask someone to take you there? I would rather you hate me now than regret it for the rest of your life. Even after talking so much, he was still pretending to be nice, which made Shu Wanqing sick. No, I said I'm not going and that means I'm not going. She looked at the old lady of the Shu family who had been silent. Grandma, you are the most fair, please say something fair. Everyone looked at the old lady of the Shu family. She sighed slightly, but there was not much anger on her face. Wanqing, you are the eldest daughter of the Shu family, you have been excellent since childhood, all the good things are given priority to you. Grandma knows that you feel wronged, but the family has cultivated you, you must also know how to repay the family. Although Jinxiong's words were blunt, they were not wrong. Xiaoqiao is the only child in our Shu family, and you will eventually get married. I listened to Grandma, dressed myself up beautifully, then went to their hotel and apologized to Haoren. There are always quarrels between husband and wife, and one of them has to give in. The old lady from the Shu family spoke softly, but her words left no room for doubt. Shu Wanqing's heart sank. No matter how much you say, it's just because she is a daughter and will get married sooner or later, so no matter how much you do, it will be in vain. Shu Chao is the son and will inherit the family business in the future. She laughed at herself and said, you make sacrifice sound so great. Do I have to sacrifice everything I have just because I'm your daughter? At the beginning, Shu Jinxiong finalized the marriage without telling her, and she had no choice but to agree. Who knows how much injustice she has suffered over the years? Of course they can stand on the moral high ground to persuade themselves, that's because they don't know what kind of person Zhu Haoren is and don't have to live with Zhu Haoren. All they see are the benefits of marrying Zhu Haoren, and they are the beneficiaries. She thought that her grandmother, who was always fair, would say a few fair words for her, which would make her feel better. But now, she collapsed instantly. The words of the old lady of the Shu family became the last straw that broke the camel's back. Qin Xianglian pulled Shu Wanqing and said, Wanqing, be obedient. Life is long, and it doesn't matter who you live with. This sentence made Shu Wanqing burst into tears. Her uncle's family forced her, her grandmother sided with them, her father didn't dare to say a word, and even her mother advised her to be obedient. Therefore, what they care about is not whether they are happy or not, or whether they have been wronged. They only care about whether the Shu family can continue to prosper and be wealthy. No one wants her. She has parents and family, but she is as lonely as an orphan with no one to rely on. Just then, she thought of the security guard. She wiped away her tears, her eyes gradually becoming crazy, even with a hint of revenge. Mom, you're right, it doesn't matter who I live with, but I, Shu Wanqing, will never live with Zhu Haoren. Who do you want to live with? Huang Jing said angrily, do you still want to live with that lowly security guard? Yes, I want to spend the night with him. There's nothing wrong with the video. He spent the night in my room the day before yesterday. After their words fell, everyone was stunned. They all looked at him with incredible eyes. At that moment, Shu Wanqing actually felt the pleasure of revenge. You shameless thing, you are bringing disgrace to my Shu family. Shu Jinxiong was so angry that he jumped up and down. Qin Xianglian took 2 steps back and sat down on the sofa with a dazed look on her face. She could never imagine that the daughter she had raised with so much effort would actually do such a thing. How am I shameless? We're not even engaged yet. Besides, before I was with Zhang Dong, I had always been a chaste man. I only had one man, the security guard, although I don't even know her name now. Don't tell me you don't know how romantic Zhu Haoren is outside. Why can't people be fair? The governor is allowed to set fires, but I, Shu Wanqing, can't be cool for once. You vile thing. Huang Jing was trembling all over, she was completely frightened. If Zhu Haoren knew the truth, the consequences would be disastrous. What is certain is that he will never protect the Shu family again, and Shu Chao will definitely be killed by the Yang family. Qin Xianglian also covered her face and cried. Xu Jianhong moved his lips and wanted to say something, but in the end nothing came out. Instead, he sat beside his wife with a sad face, not saying a word. The composure of the old lady of the Xu family was also shattered at this moment. Wanqing, you were just talking in anger and lying to Grandma, right? Grandma, I didn't say that in anger. The video you saw is real. I'm not a virgin anymore. Xu Wanqing looked straight ahead, with a firm and resolute expression. The old lady of the Xu family was so happy that she paused with her cane in anger and said, even if you were really slept with by that security guard, you still have to go. As long as you keep your mouth shut, Hiren won't know. Xu Jinxiong also echoed, yes, Mom is right, Xu Wanqing, I don't care whether you really slept with the security guard or not, you have to go over there. Xu Chao, who had been silent, took out his cell phone and made a call. Not long after, 7 or 8 female bodyguards came in from outside and surrounded Xu Wanqing. Xu Wanqing's face changed, even if you catch me, it's useless. She knew very well that if she went to their hotel, Zhu Haoren would definitely torture her inhumanely. Whether it's useful or not is not up to you to decide. Anyway, my brother-in-law said that as long as you go over there, no matter what mistakes you made, he will forgive you. Xu Chao sneered and waved his hand, and several female bodyguards tightly controlled Xu Wanqing. Xu Jinxiong and his wife showed smug looks on their faces. In fact, they were just delaying time. Okay, let someone send her to Haoren. The old lady of the Xu family waved her hand. Grandma, I'll take it there. Xu Chao said, this makes our family appear more sincere. Chapter 6 Humiliation. Superboy is right. Xu Jinxiong nodded and said, when the time comes, let Xiao Chao explain and clear up the misunderstanding. Xu Wanqing struggled continuously, but with her own strength, she was no match for several people. She was a little desperate. How does it feel to be pushed into the abyss by your own family? It felt like someone had stabbed me in the back, leaving me cold all over. Her mouth was gagged with a cloth. I was afraid of being seen by company employees, so I took the exclusive elevator. In the car, Xu Chao sneered, this is your fate, accept it. Although I also know that Zhu Haoren is not a good person, he can make the Xu family rise rapidly. You can also become the granddaughter-in-law of the high and mighty Zhu family, enjoying endless wealth and glory. Isn't it a win-win situation? Xu Wanqing was furious and extremely desperate. I was actually sent to someone else's bed by my own relatives. The car started and soon arrived at the hotel. The female bodyguard escorted Xu Wanqing into their hotel. Before getting out of the elevator, he asked someone to tidy up Xu Wanqing's appearance. When we arrived at the top floor, we found that it had already been cleared out by Zhu Haoren's men. As soon as he stepped out of the elevator, dozens of burly bodyguards blocked Xu Chao's way. I'm Xu Chao, Haoren's brother-in-law. I'm here to send my sister off. Get out of the way. The leading bodyguard pointed at the female bodyguards and said, you take the others over, they can't. Xu Chao nodded and asked the female bodyguard to let go, and he personally pushed Xu Wanqing to the door of Zhu Haoren's room. I rang the doorbell and waited for a while before the door opened. Haoren, I've brought the person to you. Seeing Zhu Haoren, Xu Chao nodded and fawned to the extreme. Wanqing is a girl after all, it's normal for her to have a bit of temper, please bear with me. Zhu Haoren didn't look at Xu Chao, but looked at Xu Wanqing with a playful expression, if you come earlier, you can suffer less, right? He took off the cloth from Xu Wanqing's mouth, then looked at Xu Chao with a cold face, who told you to be so rude to my fiancée? Xu Chao was stunned and smiled bitterly, I'm sorry, Mr. Zhu, I was also afraid that she would scream. Okay, go ahead. Mr. Zhu, what about the cancellation of support for our Xu family's projects? Zhu Haoren knew that these greedy people would not want to give up that little business. He sneered, go back and tell Xu Jinxiong that he did a great job. I am very satisfied. I will increase the business support. Xu Chao was delighted. Oh, I understand. Then you guys can talk slowly. I won't bother you anymore. Before leaving, he said to Xu Wanqing, Wanqing, Haoren is a rare good man in the world, you must cherish him. After saying that, he left with the female bodyguard. Zhu Haoren's expression suddenly changed. She roughly pulled Xu Wanqing into the room, then pressed her tightly against the door and pinched her fair face. Bitch, run away, why don't you run away? I told you, you can't escape my five-finger mountain. It has always been me, Zhu Haoren, who has let others down. No one can let me, Zhu Haoren, down. You lowly bitch, you cuckolded me, today I am going to torture you. He suddenly raised his hand, wanting to hit her, but then he thought again and held back. No, there's a celebration party tomorrow night. If I hit your face and make it swollen, it won't be beautiful anymore, and it will be a disgrace to me, Ju Haoran. Xu Wanqing looked at him with cold eyes. From Ju Haoran's sick and crazy eyes, it can be seen that she will be miserable next. She tried her best not to anger Ju Haoran. Since you don't like me, why do this to me? Why not let me go? As long as I am needed, I can act with you. I don't care how you spend your time drinking and partying outside. After 2 years, we will announce to the public that our relationship has broken down. What do you think? Oh, that's what you're thinking. I'll let you go and then let you live with that lowly security guard. Ju Haoran pulled her and ran straight to their master bedroom. He threw her onto the bed and pulled out a whip from a box. If I can't get it, no one else can get it. I want to keep you by my side, torture you, and let you understand the consequences of betrayal. He undressed and whipped Xu Wanqing with the whip in his hand. He did not whip the conspicuous places, but only the invisible places. It's heartbreaking. Whip after whip. This beating also completely woke Xu Wanqing up. If she continued to compromise, it would not just be unhappiness, she might even lose her life. She has to save herself. Bitch, beg for mercy, then open your legs and beg me to have sex with you. Looking at Xu Wanqing rolling on the bed with a look of pain on her face, Ju Haoran felt extremely satisfied. But there was one thing he didn't like. Why didn't she scream? Why didn't she beg for mercy? Was he not cruel enough, or was he not ruthless enough? So he stepped up his efforts. Xu Wanqing couldn't help it any longer. Ju Haoran, you are pervert. Abnormal? Ju Haoran burst into laughter. Wrong, I am your fiancé, and now I am going to exercise my rights as a fiancé. He had a sick smile on his face and a crazy look in his eyes. The clothes on Xu Wanqing's back had been torn, revealing her white jade-like skin. The bright red whip marks looked like they were branded by an iron, which was particularly glaring and formed a sharp contrast. He took out his cell phone and started taking pictures of Xu Wanqing. Ju Haoran, you are not a human. Xu Wanqing was anxious and angry. Xu Wanqing, this is the price of betrayal. You can only be my plaything for the rest of your life. Ju Haoran laughed wildly. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that I have asked Lin Minute for the phone number of that stinky security guard in your company. I will send your nude photos to him and see how he reacts. Har 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 har. I sent the photo to that sleazy little security guard. Will he come over? You. Hearing this, Xu Wanqing was really panicked this time. She had finally scolded the other party away, but she didn't expect Ju Haoran to still not let her go. She gritted her teeth and said, it's useless to send it to him. This will only show your incompetence and let others know that you, Ju Haoran, are a gentleman on the surface, but a beast in private. Maybe he will leak these photos to the media, and then the image you have carefully created will collapse. Har har, you're really nice to that little security guard. Ju Haoran sent the photo over, and after confirming that the other party had received it, he nodded with satisfaction. Next, we just have to wait for him to come. Do you think he dares to come? He grinned sinisterly and lashed the whip in his hand again. Xu Wanqing bit her lips tightly to prevent herself from screaming. In her heart she prayed that he would never come. At this moment, in Zhang Dong's rental house, Zhang Dong, who was sitting on the sofa and chatting with Yarn Yarn, suddenly received a message. After picking up the phone and taking a look, Zhang Dong's eyes instantly turned red and anger burst out of his eyes. Chapter 7 I Am a Man. Seeing Zhang Dong suddenly look unhappy and stand up to leave, Yarn Yarn, who was sitting on the sofa, stood up and asked, Uncle, where are you going? I have some personal matters to take care of. Please stay at home. After saying that, Zhang Dong slammed the door of the living room shut. Standing at the French window upstairs, looking at Zhang Dong's receding figure, Yarn Yarn smiled slightly. It seems to be interesting. Looking at the photo of Xu Wanqing, who was covered in scars, Zhang Dong turned off his phone and stopped a taxi on the side of the road. Let's go to Donghai Hotel. He knew very well what would happen when he went to the hotel. He can't afford to offend Ju Haoran, but he will definitely not stand idly by. Meanwhile, inside the suite, Ju Haoran stopped and he didn't continue beating. After all, there is an engagement party tomorrow night. If he beats her to the point where she can't walk, he will have a hard time explaining himself when the young lady asks about it. You're really tough on the outside, but the more stubborn you are, the more I like you. Do you know how many enemies I once looked up to have fallen at my feet in the past 3 years? Zhu Haoran lit a cigar, and the faces of his enemies flashed through his mind one after another. Some of them were displaced, while others were already buried. Now that her face has been completely torn, Xu Wanqing has nothing to say. She only hated herself for not resisting earlier, or for not seeing Zhu Haoran clearly earlier. As long as you listen to me obediently in the future, I will not treat you unfairly. You will still be the high and mighty daughter-in-law of the Zhu family's grandson. You will have wealth and splendor, and everything that others only dream of having. You can easily get it. Do you think I will still believe what you say? Xu Wanqing sneered, give me a slap and then give me a sweet date. Do you really think I'm a 3-year-old girl? Come on, you're just afraid that I will expose this matter and ruin your reputation. Zhu Haoran was furious. Don't force me. If you really piss me off, believe it or not, I will find someone to kill the Xu family members. When coercion and bribery failed, you started to get angry and embarrassed. Zhu Haoran, do you think you deserve to be a top celebrity? You are far from being worthy of the position. Bang! Zhu Haoran slapped her in the face, and instantly, a bright red slap mark appeared on her fair face. He grabbed Xu Wanqing's neck and said, are you so willing to degenerate? In what way am I, Zhu Haoran, inferior to that little security guard? Zhu Haoran is proud. Even though he is where he is today because of Angelababy's promotion, he is definitely second to none. He is a favored child of heaven and is admired by everyone. His next decision may affect thousands or even tens of thousands of people. But in Xu Wanqing's eyes, these are not as good as a watchdog. This angered Zhu Haoran, and he angrily tore Xu Wanqing's coat into pieces. But when he saw the bruises on Xu Wanqing's body, he was stunned, and then a strong sense of humiliation surged in his heart. Bitch, where did the bruises on your body come from? Zhu Haoran's eyes were ferocious, as if he wanted to eat her alive. Xu Wanqing was not afraid at all, and even mocked her, need I say more? These are all left by Zhang Dong. You are not as rude as him at all. You are so weak. He is very strong. Even a strong person like me has to beg for mercy from him. Before she could finish her words, Zhu Haoran slapped her in the face again. He grabbed Xu Wanqing's neck tightly and said, bitch, you deserve to die. Even though he knew Xu Wanqing had betrayed him, his pride was trampled upon when he saw the bruises and kiss marks on her body. He whipped Xu Wanqing, but she didn't utter a single sound from beginning to end, not even the slightest. Not to mention begging for mercy. He could fully imagine the scene of Xu Wanqing being pinned down by Zhang Dong and begging for mercy. He suddenly felt jealous. Why would a woman like Xu Wanqing beg Zhang Dong for mercy? Rage devoured his sanity. He became more and more ruthless. Please, please let me go. But Xu Wanqing didn't, she was smiling, her eyes full of mockery. And the lips are still moving. Zhu Haoran understood what she was saying, you are weak. Bitch, bitch, bitch. At this moment, he didn't want to care about anything. At this moment, the door suddenly shook violently. Bang! 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 Before he could react, the next second, the thick door was kicked open from the outside. He turned around suddenly and saw Zhang Dong rushing in with murderous eyes. Those eyes, without a trace of emotion, were like those of a ferocious beast. For a moment, his heart tightened. Bang! The fist landed heavily on his face. He was knocked back and hit against the wall, then fell heavily to the ground. He was so dizzy from the fall that his internal organs were churning. The moment I saw Zhang Dong, all the grievances came to my mind. She was treated as a commodity by her family and was beaten and humiliated by Zhu Haoran. All of this made her physically and mentally exhausted. Why are you here? Although Xu Wanqing was touched, she really didn't want to see this scene. He was just a small security guard and shouldn't be involved in such a sad life like himself. I am a man, I should come. This short sentence gave Xu Wanqing an immense shock. Zhang Dong stepped forward and broke free from the restraints on her hands. He then took off his security uniform and covered her with it. Then he held her up domineeringly and said, you probably don't know my name yet. My name is Zhang Dong. I'll take you home. These words hit Xu Wanqing's heart directly. She was tired and didn't want to talk, not a single word. Let Zhang Dong put him on his back. Zhang Dong looked at the shocking wound, and the blood soon dyed the security uniform red. He carefully avoided the wound. Raging rage and cold murderous intent. He walked step by step to Zhu Haoren's side. No matter who you are or what your background is, as a man, you are so cruel to a woman. I really despise you. Fuck you, you dare to hit me, you're dead. Zhu Haoren looked up at Zhang Dong, a ferocious smile on his face. I will definitely torture you to death. No hope. Zhang Dong shook his head helplessly, raised his foot, and stepped heavily on his left arm. With a click, his arm bone was broken in the middle. R. A shrill scream came out of his mouth. Zhang Dong, I'm going to kill you. He didn't expect that a lowly security guard would dare to cheat on him and hurt him. If this matter were to get out, Zhu Haoren would become the biggest laughingstock in the East China Sea. Not only will I kill you, I will also find your family and make them wish they were dead. I will also make the Shu family buried with me, and let Shu Wanqing, this fickle bitch, become a whore that is ridden by thousands of men. You don't stand a chance. Zhang Dong took a deep breath and said, my family is my bottom line. I won't give anyone the chance to touch my family. He raised his foot. Just one kick was enough to break his throat. The power burst out in that instant could kill him instantly without him feeling any pain. In my next life, be a human being. Zhang Dong said expressionlessly and kicked it. Chapter 8 completely disappeared. Zhang Dong. Just as Zhang Dong was about to land, Shu Wanqing in his arms called out her name, don't touch him. If he dies, there will be no room for maneuver. They might not die if they beat him, but if they killed him, the Zhu family would hunt them down all over the world. Such a huge monster will be caught even if it escapes abroad. In Zhang Dong's impression, Shu Wanqing is a typical strong woman in the company, cold and arrogant. At this moment, she rarely showed her fragility as a woman. Zhang Dong moved his mouth, but finally retracted his foot. He carried Shu Wanqing out of the room, and outside, the bodyguards were lying on the ground in a mess. Zhang Dong carried her out of the hotel quickly and took a taxi to a one-star hotel. As he was short of money, he could only afford a suite here. After all, there is a woman in the rental house, and it would not be appropriate to bring her back. He bought some medicine and iodine. At this time, Shu Wanqing also returned to her usual coldness. Her eyes were a little complicated. Why did you come? I failed to protect you. I'm sorry. Zhang Dong felt a little guilty. Why don't you take off your clothes and I'll clean your wound for you? You haven't answered my question yet. Didn't I already expel you and leave you alone forever? She tightly grasped the security uniform on her body, which had a faint smell of cigarettes. She was a misophobe, so not only would she not wear other people's clothes, she would even wipe the things that others had used. But now, she was not too disgusted, and even felt relieved. Although I, Zhang Dong, am just a security guard, I am also a man. Since we have had a relationship, I will not sit idly by and watch you. If someone hurts you, I will protect you even at the risk of my life. Zhang Dong said solemnly. Have you ever thought about what the consequences would be if you fell into his hands? Shu Wanqing's face didn't show much expression, and it was impossible to tell what she was thinking. You don't have to test me. As long as it's what I said, I would do it even if it costs my life. Zhang Dong took a deep breath. How about you undress and I'll wet the gauze with iodine to clean it for you, and then apply some medicine. Don't touch water for 2 days. It will heal in a few days. Don't worry, it shouldn't leave scars. As soon as he finished speaking, the air around him became much hotter, and a charming atmosphere spread in the room. Shu Wanqing looked at her, and Zhang Dong felt a little uncomfortable. Don't worry, I don't have any other thoughts. Go now, escape from the East China Sea. Otherwise, when Zhu Haoren comes to his senses, you won't be able to escape. Shu Wanqing, that's enough. Zhang Dong took a deep breath. If I were afraid of death, I would run away without you telling me. Take off your clothes right now, and I'll clean your wound. He said somewhat domineeringly. If you don't take it off, I will do it myself. Shu Wanqing gritted her teeth, curled her lips, and then undressed. The security uniform was stained with blood and stuck to the skin. When taking off her clothes, Shu Wanqing gasped in pain, but Zhang Dong was beside her, so she pursed her lips tightly and didn't make any sound. The jade-like white and smooth back was covered with whip marks, which was shocking to the eye. Zhang Dong was suppressing his anger. How could Zhu Haoren, that beast, have the heart to do that to him? Shu Wanqing placed her hands on her chest. Her pink top looked particularly seductive. The slight hint of whiteness from the sides made Zhang Dong's breath catch. He bit the tip of his tongue and said, "Get down." Xu Wanqing's body was a little stiff. She hesitated for 3 seconds before lying down on the bed. The plump and perky buttocks and the slender waist that can be held in one hand drive all men crazy. Zhang Dong tore off the gauze, wet it with iodine, and carefully helped her wipe the blood and disinfect it. If it hurts, tell me. Hum. Xu Wanqing buried her face in the quilt, her mind a little confused. She couldn't even believe that she was now having her wounds treated by the little security guard she hated. Zhang Dong's movements were so light that Xu Wanqing couldn't even feel them. After cleaning the wound on his back, Zhang Dong began to apply medicine. After doing all this, he retracted his gaze and said, "This is the women's clothing I bought when I bought medicine just now. You can wear it for now." He took out a piece of clothing. Xu Wanqing took a look at the label that was exposed. She disliked such a low-end brand item even to use it as a rag. But this was the best piece Zhang Dong picked out from the store, and it cost him more than 800 yuan. She sat up and said in a barely audible voice, "Thank you." "What did you say?" "Forget it if you didn't hear it." Xu Wanqing was a little embarrassed. She suppressed her embarrassment and took out the bank card that Zhang Dong refused again. "Thank you very much for everything you have done for me, but we are from two different worlds after all. If you hadn't shown up, maybe you could still survive in Donghai, but now you've injured Zhu Haoren. Not to mention Donghai, you may not even have a place to stay in this country. The Zhu family has a family in Beijing behind them. It's like an ant trying to shake a tree for you to face such a family alone. There is only 1 million in this card. You can take it and escape to other cities first. I will transfer 2 million into this card, which should be enough for you to live abroad. Don't think too much. I don't like to owe others. Even though you came to save me, it didn't make things better." Without waiting for Zhang Dong to refuse, she stuffed the card into his hand and said, "From now on, we are even. I don't want it, and I won't leave." Her eyes turned cold. "Zhang Dong, how can you stop pestering me?" Zhang Dong frowned slightly. "What do you mean?" "It doesn't matter. We are not from the same world." Xu Wanqing looked indifferent, suppressing the emotions in her heart. Although Zhang Dong had no money or power, at least he was willing to risk his life for her. But the current situation is obviously not something that a security guard like him can participate in. She looked down, gritted her teeth, and unbuttoned the small buttons on her back with her backhand. With a click, the soft and tender part that was bound bounced free. She lay straight on the bed and closed her eyes. "Come on, I'll satisfy you one last time. I hope that after this time, you can give up those unrealistic thoughts and completely disappear from my sight." Chapter 9. Never seen a man in your previous life? Zhang Dong was slightly stunned, then laughed at himself. "In your eyes, this is what I want." "What do you want?" Xu Wanqing sneered. "Do you still want to get into my house?" "Don't dream. I am still a free man. It will be useless after tomorrow night. You underestimate me, Zhang Dong. If it weren't for what happened that night, I wouldn't care even if you were beaten to death. But since God has made us related, anyone who wants to bully you must first step over my body." Zhang Dong's words were sincere, and Xu Wanqing was touched. She tried her best to suppress the sadness in her nose. From childhood to adulthood, no one has ever said such words to her. Suddenly, an abrupt ringtone broke the silence. Xu Wanqing picked up the phone and answered it. A furious voice shouted, "Xu Wanqing, are you crazy? Is that little security guard with you? Tell him to get back to Master Zhu's hotel immediately, otherwise I will make sure he has no place to stay in Donghai. Why did you take my mom's phone? Where's my mom?" Xu Jinxiong cursed. "You even said that your mother was almost forced to jump off the building because of you, shameless thing, betraying your fiancé and letting that lowly security guard beat Haoren. You really want to force the Xu family to death. If you don't want your mother to die, come back here right away." After saying that, he hung up the phone. Xu Wanqing's pretty face was frosty. She gritted her teeth and looked at Zhang Dong. "It's all your fault." Zhang Dong took a deep breath and said, "The most urgent thing is to go back immediately." Xu Wanqing was extremely anxious. She endured the pain in her back and put on her undershirt, then put on the dress that Zhang Dong bought. Although not bright, it is exceptionally elegant. She limped out, and Zhang Dong quickly followed and picked her up. "Let me go. Hurry up like this. What do you want to do? Haven't you hurt me enough? I will take responsibility for what I did. It has nothing to do with you. You want to come back to the hotel with me?" "Yes." Zhang Dong nodded. Madman, you are a complete madman. Xu Wanqing raised her fist and landed on him. Go away. If you come back with me, it will only make things worse. Zhang Dong let her fists fall on him and stopped a taxi. He directly hugged Xu Wanqing and sat in the back seat. If you are not afraid of being embarrassed, just keep making trouble. You. Xu Wanqing's eyes were blazing with fire and she bit his shoulder very hard. But Zhang Dong had no expression on his face and didn't even dodge. It was not until she felt a taste of rust in her mouth that she realized that she had bitten her shoulder. When he opened his mouth, a bright red tooth mark came into view. She simply glanced aside and asked, "Does it hurt?" "Pain. Why don't you hide? You'll be even angrier if I hide. If biting me can make you feel better, I'd rather be bitten by you." Zhang Dong's words were a bit stupid, but Xu Wanqing's anger was mostly reduced. Soon, they returned to Zhu Haoren's hotel. "Put me down," Xu Wanqing ordered. Zhang Dong did as he was told. In the elevator, Xu Wanqing said coldly, "It's not too late to go down now. Maybe once you open the door, it will be a dragnet. By then, it will be useless even if you want to escape." Zhang Dong said firmly, "I won't leave. Whatever you want, don't blame me if you die." The elevator door slowly opened and Xu Wanqing walked out. Just as she had expected, the hotel rooms were full of people. As soon as Xu Wanqing showed her head, everyone looked over. She strode forward with her head held high, and Zhang Dong followed behind her. He didn't care about the fierce looks of the bodyguards Zhu Haoren had called. At this time, the wound on Zhu Haoren's arm had been bandaged, and everyone continued to comfort him and apologize. Looking at Xu Wanqing's return, the old lady of the Xu family had a gloomy expression. Xu Jinxiong with a frown, his uncle who kept scolding his mother, his crying mother, and his worried father. "Xu Wanqing, you're finally back. Do you know how much trouble you've caused?" Xu Jinxiong jumped out, pointing at Xu Wanqing and cursing. But when he saw Zhang Dong behind Xu Wanqing, he was stunned for a moment, then gritted his teeth and said, You are Zhang Dong." Zhang Dong glanced at everyone and said, "Yes, I am Zhang Dong." "You stinky security guard, you have such a guts." Xu Chao cursed, "You dare to touch my sister and break my brother-in-law's hand. You are dead today. Do you know what Zhu Haoren did to me just now? Do you know how he beat me?" Xu Wanqing looked at Xu Chao and the others with red eyes. "If Zhang Dong hadn't arrived, I might have been beaten to death by him. Yes, he did break Zhu Haoren's hand, but I asked him to do that. I asked him to remove the bodyguards outside and let him leave. I will accept whatever Zhu Haoren wants to do to me." "Impossible." Xu Jinxiong said coldly, "This matter was caused by him, so he must end it. Haoren said that if we catch Zhang Dong and hand him over, he will forgive the past. Xu Wanqing, you've really lost your mind. Even if you want to find a man, find someone who is a little stronger. Why are you looking for a security guard from your own company? Did your head get caught in the door?" Xu Chao didn't understand. Could it be that the eldest grandson of the Zhu family is not as good as a lowly security guard? The old lady of the Xu family also slammed her cane heavily. "Come here, arrest this security guard and let young Master Zhu deal with him." As soon as he finished speaking, the bodyguards standing at the door rushed in and surrounded Xu Wanqing. Zhang Dong's eyes were calm, but Xu Wanqing said, "He is innocent, let him go. I am responsible for my actions, and Zhu Haoren can do whatever he wants to me." How despicable. Even at this time, you are still trying to protect him. A despicable person and a despicable security guard, what a perfect match. Qin Xianglian, look at the beautiful daughter you gave birth to. If I had a daughter like her, I would have killed myself by hitting my head against the wall. Wang Jing scolded. Qin Xianglian felt ashamed. She cried and said to Xu Wanqing, "Wanqing, are you really going to force mom to death?" Zhang Dong couldn't bear it anymore. He stepped forward. "Boss Xu, Chairman, Aunt Qin, although I am a security guard, I admit that I can't make Wanqing rich right now, but I can assure you that as long as I am here, no one can force Wanqing. Zhu Haoren is nothing." "Damn it, do you have the right to speak here?" Xu Jinxiong angrily shouted, "Who the hell are you? I'm just a guard dog. What qualifications do you have to criticize the noble Master Zhu?" Xu Chao also cursed, "Xu Wanqing, you want a man like this? Have you never seen a man in your previous life?" Chapter 10 The Mrs. Phone Call. Xu Wanqing took a deep breath. At this moment, she also felt ashamed, but she did not feel embarrassed in her heart. Instead, she felt a strong sense of pleasure in revenge. The more hysterical they were, the happier she felt. But people still have to face reality. She may not consider herself, but she still has to consider her parents. Let him go. I will take care of anything that happens. If you arrest him, I will not cooperate with Zhu Hairan even if he takes revenge on the Shu family. You can try. Xu Wanqing, wake up. Are you going to break up with your family for an insignificant security guard? Xu Jinxiong gritted his teeth. He believed that Xu Wanqing would do this. If she did not cooperate, it would only make things worse. I just don't want to hurt innocent people. Besides, this little security guard saved me. I, Xu Wanqing, never owe anyone anything. Xu Wanqing said this to them and also to Zhang Dong. She looked at him coldly and said, "Why don't you get out of here quickly? Stop while you're ahead. Are you still waiting for everyone to treat you to a meal?" Zhang Dong looked at her and shook his head. I won't leave. Everyone is responsible for their own actions. I beat the man, so I will settle the matter. Xu Wanqing was so angry, if you really want to help me, just get out of here. You'll only make me worse. He's my fiancé. Even if there are conflicts between us, it's a matter between husband and wife. It's not your turn as an outsider to interfere. Your intervention will only make others think that I, Xu Wanqing, am a fickle woman. Even if you stay, I will not be grateful to you. On the contrary, I will dislike you and even hate you. Because you ruined my reputation and put me in a passive position. You also saw that my mother was about to jump off the building and my family members were blaming me. You said that you are responsible for your own actions, but what can you take on? Can you take on the responsibility? I can take responsibility for it. Zhang Dong said firmly. Why are you still talking so much nonsense? Get started. Zhu Hairan, who had been silent the whole time, had bloodshot left eyes and was filled with rage. Facing the enthusiasm of Xu Jinxiong's family, he turned a blind eye and even ignored the old lady of the Xu family. Zhang Dong, it's time to settle the accounts between us. Well, it's time to settle the score. The two looked at each other. The brutality and murderous intent in Zhu Hairan's eyes did not seem to be a bit stressful in Zhang Dong's eyes. On the contrary, Zhang Dong's indifferent look made Zhu Hairan feel a little uneasy. He knew that Zhang Dong was good at fighting, so he called a lot of people outside this time. With these people around, no matter how good Zhang Dong is at fighting, he can never be their opponent, so he is not in a hurry. Moreover, the matter was getting bigger and bigger, and it was vaguely beyond his control. Zhang Dong, have you ever thought about what will happen if you offend me? Zhu Hairan said coldly, I know you are good at fighting, and this should be the skill you rely on, but this is a modern society. What's the use of being good at fighting? Without power, influence, and money, you are nothing. If you want to fight, then fight. Stop talking nonsense. Zhang Dong knew very well what Zhu Hairan was planning. In such a small space, even with so many people, he was still not sure he could defeat him. Do you really think I dare not touch you? Zhu Hairan said coldly, I just admire your ability. I misunderstood what happened between you and Wanqing before. How about this, you kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times, and the matter of you injuring me will be written off. Besides, you are so good at fighting, come and be my personal bodyguard, I won't treat you unfairly. Zhu Hairan's words surprised everyone. Xu Jinxiong and others were even more confused. Only Xu Wanqing frowned. But after thinking about it for a while, she understood what Zhu Hairan meant. Why are you still standing there? Why don't you kneel down and kowtow and admit your mistake? Xu Chao hurriedly said, Zhang Dong, Hairan is the eldest grandson of the Zhu family, a wealthy family in Donghai. How many people can't ask for this, so don't be ungrateful. Zhang Dong sneered, based on my understanding of him, he doesn't have such a broad mind. Zhang Dong. Xu Wanqing said in an imperative tone, apologize to Hairan. Although there was a misunderstanding before, you were also wrong. Zhu Hairan looked at Zhang Dong expressionlessly, with a sinister look in his eyes. He will first stabilize Xu Wanqing, and wait until the engagement is over tomorrow, then he will deal with Zhang Dong and Xu Wanqing, these 2 bad guys. Hurry up and don't waste everyone's time. That's right, Zhang Dong, apologize quickly and stop whining. Xu Chao said impatiently. Zhang Dong looked around and couldn't help but laugh at himself. Just when Zhang Dong was about to open his mouth to refute, Zhu Hairan suddenly received a call. He didn't want to answer it at first, But when he saw that the caller ID showed a number from the capital and it was his private cell phone, he finally answered it in front of everyone. No one heard what the person on the phone said. Zhu Haoran was overjoyed. He stood up and nodded repeatedly. What? Okay, I understand. Everyone was stunned, wondering whose phone call could make Zhu Haoran so frightened. After hanging up the phone, Zhu Haoran looked at the whole audience proudly. I just received a call from the secretary of the eldest daughter of the Yang family, one of the 3 largest chaebol families in China. It just so happens that the eldest daughter has been in Donghai for business these days and will attend my engagement ceremony tomorrow. What? When the people present heard this, they all gasped. The Yang family of Beijing. One of the 3 great chaebols, a family as wealthy as a nation, a height that the Shu family could never hope to reach in their lifetime, and yet they were all going to attend Zhu Haoran's wedding. What does this prove? It proves that even the Yang family in Beijing has high regard for Zhu Haoran. If he is promoted a little, Zhu Haoran's future will be limitless. Master Zhu is so young and talented that even Miss Yarn looks up to him. Yes. Looking around, only Haoran has this ability. It is a blessing for our Shu family that Wanqing can marry Haoran. Even the old lady of the Shu family smiled and said to Zhang Dong, you have heard everything now. The Zhu family has connections with the Yang family. We will not force them. I will not pursue the previous matters. Kneel down immediately and apologize to Haoran, and this matter will be over. Even Qin Xianglian couldn't help but say, Zhang Dong, I beg you, if you really want to do good for Wanqing, just kneel down, you can't ruin Wanqing's happiness for life. Oh, you are so naive. If I kneel down and apologize to him, will he forgive me? Will he let your Shu family go? Wake up, when this is over, he will turn around and deal with you. Zhang Dong, shut up. You are not allowed to slander my fiancé. Shu Wanqing looked at him coldly. This madman, this reckless man, even the Yang family has openly expressed their support for the Zhu family. Doesn't he know the seriousness of the matter? Apologize immediately, otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Chapter 11. Go to her engagement ceremony. They can't see clearly, can't you see clearly too? Zhang Dong looked straight ahead. Don't hold on to false ideas, it will only make you lose the initiative. Shu Wanqing's heart trembled, and then she said angrily, shut up. Zhu Haoran's expression changed again, and his eyes became fierce. Do you really want to die? You're the one who wants to die. Zhang Dong said coldly, maybe if you kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times now, I can still spare your life. Zhu Haoran was so angry that veins popped up on his forehead. Shu Wanqing was also annoyed. Xu Jinxiong and the others' faces turned completely black. Zhang Dong, don't make the mistake. Xu Chao cursed, you ungrateful bastard, I think you are really not afraid of death. Come, catch him. If he dares to resist, beat him to death. If he dies, it's my fault. The bodyguards of Shu group immediately rubbed their hands and stared at Zhang Dong with eager eyes. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Stop. Shu Wanqing shouted, Zhang Dong, I'll say it one last time, apologize to my fiancé. Everyone's eyes were focused on Zhang Dong. So, I was wrong to protect you and save you, right? Zhang Dong laughed at himself, maybe I shouldn't have come today. That's right, you shouldn't have come at all. Maybe if you hadn't come, my fiancé and I would have become husband and wife tonight and lived a stable life in the future. Even if Haoran beat me and scolded me in the hotel tonight, it was a matter between us and our husband and wife and had nothing to do with you, an outsider. Shu Wanqing's gaze was so firm that it deeply hurt his heart. You really think so? Yes. Zhang Dong suddenly gave a sad smile, I'm sorry, I was too nosy. From now on, I will no longer appear in front of you. If I take away your precious things, I will not return them. From now on, we will part ways and live happily. I wish you happiness. When he said the last 4 words, Zhang Dong felt empty in his heart, but he had nothing to do with Shu Wanqing, so why would he feel so heartbroken? Could it be that I have fallen in love with him? Zhang Dong didn't think much about it, he just turned around and left the crowd dejectedly. At this moment, he felt like a clown, an abandoned person. A dozen bodyguards turned and looked at Zhu Haoran. As long as Zhu Haoran gave the order, they would swarm forward. Zhu Haoran looked at Zhang Dong's increasingly distant figure with fierce eyes. Before he could speak, Shu Wanqing stepped forward with a firm gaze to block Zhu Haoran's sight. Let him go. After the engagement tomorrow, I will be your wife wholeheartedly. I will no longer ask about work matters. I will only stay at home to take care of my husband and children and take care of our common home. But if you don't let him go today, I will jump out of this window immediately. From now on, whatever you want to do will have nothing to do with me." Hearing this, Zhu Haran narrowed his eyes and asked, "Are you threatening me?" Xu Wanqing shook her head. "No, I chose to accept my fate." Zhu Haran was very satisfied with Xu Wanqing's current attitude. He stood up and took Xu Wanqing into his arms, stroking her waist with one big hand. "Okay, then I'll give you this opportunity. Tomorrow night, I'll give you the most luxurious engagement ceremony in the East China Sea. I will arrive on time." After saying this, Xu Wanqing broke free from Zhu Haran's arms and turned away. The Xu family members also greeted Zhu Haran one after another. "Then Mr. Zhu, go to bed early tonight. See you tomorrow night." "Don't worry, Mr. Zhu. We will make sure Wanqing dresses up beautifully tomorrow." Zhu Haran nodded with a hypocritical smile. After everyone left, Zhu Haran put away the smile on his face and replaced it with a sick sneer. "Xu Wanqing, tomorrow night, I will make you kneel on my bed and beg for mercy." At night, Zhang Dong returned to the rental house alone. Yarn was still awake. She was still wearing the dark green military short-sleeved top that Zhang Dong gave her. She was sitting cross-legged on the sofa watching TV with her long white legs. "Uncle, you're back." Zhang Dong hummed nonchalantly. "Have you checked your ticket home? Tell me the train number and I'll pay for it. If you have nothing else to do, go home early so your family won't worry about you." Yang chuckled. "I know, I've already booked a ticket for the day after tomorrow to go back to Beijing, home." At this time, Yang realized that Zhang Dong was not in a good state. He blinked, jumped up from the sofa, walked to Zhang Dong and asked, "What's wrong, uncle? Why do you look like you've been heartbroken after going out?" Zhang Dong smiled bitterly. "Don't talk nonsense, I have never been in love." Yang didn't believe Zhang Dong's words at all, and looked suspicious. "Impossible, there must be something on your mind. Uncle, do you consider me a good friend?" "Oh, Then just tell me. I'm not from here anyway. If you tell me, I won't have anywhere else to tell others. I can also help you analyze it, right?" Zhang Dong also felt that what Yarn said made sense, so he followed Yarn to the sofa and told her everything that happened between him and Xu Wanqing from beginning to end. After listening to this, Yarn touched his chin with one hand and made a reasoning look. "Uncle, if nothing unexpected happens, it seems that you have fallen in love with your female president." Hearing this, Zhang Dong was shocked himself. "Impossible, don't talk nonsense. She and I are not from the same world. What's the big deal? If you like someone, then you like them. There's an old saying that goes, age is not a problem, identity is not a distance, and love has no boundaries." Yang's words made Zhang Dong fall into deep thought. He shook his head and said, "But he said that he doesn't want me to enter his world and asked me to get out as far away as possible. Have you ever thought about why she said that?" Zhang Dong shook his head. Yang looked as if he understood everything. "You are stupid, she is protecting you." "Who is Zhu Haran?" "He is a giant in the East China Sea. Even the Xu family wants to curry favor with him. If you, a small security guard, fight with him, it will be like an egg hitting a rock. He is afraid that you will not even know how you died, so he keeps chasing you away. It's a good intention, but you, a straight man, are the only one who doesn't understand." Zhang Dong was somewhat confused by what Yarn said, and subconsciously asked, "Then what should I do?" Yang's eyes flashed with a trace of loneliness, but she still reminded, "Tomorrow, go to her engagement ceremony." Chapter 12 Qin Xianglian's Conditions. The next morning, just as Xu Wanqing woke up, the door of her room was pushed open by her mother. Qin Xianglian held a brand new evening dress in her hand and placed it on the table. "Hurry up, the engagement party will start soon. The eldest daughter of the Yang family will also be here today. Dress yourself up well." Xu Wanqing's eyes were dull, and she gave a bitter smile. "Are you really planning to sell your daughter like this?" Qin Xianglian was a little anxious. "What do you mean by selling it? You are my biological daughter. How can I hope that you can live a bad life? I just hope that you can marry well and have a guaranteed life for the rest of your life." Xu Wanqing sneered and stopped talking to Qin Xianglian. She walked to the dressing mirror in her pajamas and put on her delicate makeup bit by bit. Xu Wanqing never wears makeup, yet she is still stunningly beautiful. With the embellishment of light makeup, she is a natural beauty with a queen-like demeanor, and is therefore known as the Queen of the East China Sea. It was almost noon when a white Bentley slowly drove into a manor. Behind the Bentley is a Mercedes Maybach. In the parking lot, the worst ones are $1 million luxury cars. If the price is below $1 million, you are not even qualified to enter the casino. The car door opened, and Zhu Haoren, dressed in an expensive suit, got out of the Bentley, along with Xu Wanqing. Soon after, the old lady of the Xu family, Xu Jinxiong and his wife, and Qin Xianglian also got out of the Maybach. They all dressed up with jewels and precious stones, fearing that others would look down on them. Xu Jianhong was afraid of such crowded occasions, so he stayed at home and did not come out. As soon as the group got off the bus, they attracted a lot of people's attention. Many people even smiled and nodded at Zhu Haoren. Zhu Haoren had already spread the news that the eldest daughter of the Yang family in Beijing would come to attend the wedding banquet today. Zhu Haoren was definitely the focus of Donghai tonight. He stretched out his hand to hug Xu Wanqing's slender waist, but his arm was empty. Xu Wanqing looked at him coldly. "You can hold my hand, but you don't have to hold my waist." Zhu Haoren sneered and grabbed her hand domineeringly. "I tell you, if you mess up for me tonight, you will bear the consequences yourself. Don't forget, you are my fiancé now. Not to mention hugging my waist, you have to go home with me tonight and have fun." As he spoke, his hand forcefully climbed onto Xu Wanqing's slender waist. Xu Wanqing took a deep breath and slapped his hand away. "This is a banquet, not a dance hall. If you do this, not only will you look vulgar, but you will also lose face." Zhu Haoren's face changed drastically. "How can I be as vulgar as a bitch like you? A rich lady from an upper-class family would rather degenerate and accompany a lowly security guard. I don't despise you for being a second-hand slut, but you're still pretending to be me. Yes, I am willing to be a lowly person. I'd just like to accompany him. Since you look down on me so much, why bother touching me?" Zhu Haoren's eyes were about to spit fire. This bitch didn't even give him face in front of so many people. He wanted to get angry, but many people were watching, so he could only force a smile and forcefully hugged her into his arms. "I'm warning you for the last time, recognize your own identity. The protagonist tonight is Yang Ying, the eldest daughter of the Yang family, not you, Xu Wanqing. I don't need your warning, I know it very well." Xu Wanqing also had a smile on her face, but her words were emotionless. "I made it very clear yesterday. After the engagement tonight, you can do whatever you want. Now don't touch me in front of everyone. I'm not used to it." "Oh, a fierce horse is good. I must tame the fierce horse tonight. The fiercer it is, the better I like it." Two people stood at the edge of the stage, preparing to go on stage later. At the moment when Xu Wanqing's eyes were wandering, she suddenly saw Zhang Dong walking in from outside and sitting down in a corner. Seeing this scene, Xu Wanqing's face suddenly darkened and she quickly looked away, fearing that Zhu Haoren would also notice Zhang Dong. At this moment, a cold voice came from behind Zhang Dong, who was sitting in the corner. "Zhang Dong, let's talk." "Aunt Qin." Zhang Dong frowned slightly, glanced at the others, and found that the old lady of the Xu family and others were talking to others. "No need to look, I'm the only one." Qin Xianglian said, "I noticed you the moment you got off the taxi. You are a smart person and you should know why I am looking for you. This occasion today is not the right place for you." Zhang Dong said calmly, "Aunt Qin, I don't quite understand what you mean. Just speak frankly. There's no need to hide anything. We are all reasonable people." Qin Xianglian said calmly, "Don't bother my daughter anymore. You are bothering her just for money. Leave the banquet immediately and leave Donghai forever. I can give you a generous reward. With this money, you can go anywhere you want. But one thing is that you can't go back to Donghai. Without you, Wanqing will have a happy family, and she will still be the lofty white swan. You should know very well that even if Wanqing chooses you, our family will not agree. Besides, what can you use to compete with Zhu Haoren? Status, power, money, even if you are 100, you are still no match for Zhu Haoren. What our Xu family wants is a son-in-law who can ride on the dragon and get rich, not a son-in-law who just eats and waits for death." After that, she took out a card from her handbag and said, 3 million, take the money and leave here. You know better than anyone that staying here now is playing with fire. I also understand that you are holding on and not leaving just to wait for the price to rise and to extort more money, that's all." Zhang Dong looked at the card and couldn't help laughing. "Auntie, I know you won't believe anything I say, and you will say I am after your Xu family's money. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I, Zhang Dong, have never taken money seriously. Your so-called power and status are not worth mentioning in my eyes. I am staying here not to wait for a good price nor to extort more money. I just want to protect Wanqing. I want to give her a chance to make another choice. After I have dealt with Zhu Haoren's issue, if she wants me to leave, I will definitely not pester her. You are her mother, you should understand better than me that when a daughter is being bullied, what she needs is firm care, not forcing her against her will. Chapter 13 Proposal Ceremony. Zhang Dong, don't be so ungrateful. I can tell you with certainty that if you continue like this, you will gain nothing and may even pay with your life. Qin Xianglian looked at him coldly. I'm her mother, I know her better than you do, and I also understand what kind of life she deserves. Even if we take a step back and say that you have no intention of blackmailing Wanqing, if you want to give Wanqing a choice, you have to come up with something, right? I won't compare you with Zhu Haoren, so I will lower my requirements a little. A house worth no less than 30 million, a 9-digit deposit, and 2 cars worth more than 1 million. As long as you can meet these 3 requirements, I can give you this opportunity. Zhang Dong smiled and shook his head. Aunt Qin, I don't have any of the things you said, but there is one thing I can do for Wanqing wholeheartedly. I can let her live happily, as long as she doesn't want to, no one can force her. Zhang Dong, don't you think it's ridiculous when you say this? Qin Xianglian sneered and said, the sincerity of a poor person cannot compare to the fickleness of a rich person. With your condition, let alone supporting Wanqing, you can't even give her a home to settle down. That's all I have to say. I hope you will think about it carefully. Tonight, Haoren will probably propose to Wanqing. I hope you can be more self-aware and never do anything that you shouldn't do. I am her mother, you can try, who is more important, me or you? After saying that, Qin Xianglian turned and left. Zhang Dong frowned. It's troublesome, really troublesome. He looked at Xu Wanqing, who was socializing and chatting happily with Zhu Haoren in the crowd, with an extremely complicated look in his eyes. Did you choose Zhu Haoren in the end? He laughed at himself. At this time, Qin Xianglian returned to the old lady of the Xu family. What do you mean? You ungrateful thing, trying to break into my house. Qin Xianglian said, gritting her teeth. Play with fire and you'll get burned. The old lady of the Xu family looked very unhappy. Can you think of a way to kick him out of the banquet? Xu Jinxiong frowned. I'm afraid that after we kick him out, he will refuse to leave and cause trouble, and then the eldest lady of the Yang family will come and see us, which will be embarrassing for us. The old lady nodded. That makes sense. Look, there's some movement from Haoren. Is he going to propose to Wanqing? Huang Jing suddenly exclaimed, quick, let's go over there. They have waited so long, until now. As long as Zhu Haoren proposes to Xu Wanqing in public, he will definitely not fall out with her in the short term. Large families are different from ordinary people. Ordinary people can divorce if they want, but marriage and divorce in a big family is very troublesome. It not only involves the distribution of property, but also the family image and family style. Hurry, help me over there. The old lady of the Xu family said excitedly. Meanwhile, in the middle of the lawn, Zhu Haoren held the microphone in his hand. A spotlight shone on him and Xu Wanqing. Chong Ren surrounded the two men and witnessed what was about to happen. Hello, everyone. I am Zhu Haoren, the eldest son of the Zhu family. The beautiful woman standing next to me is Xu Wanqing. From today on, she is my fiancée. Wanqing and I have known each other for 3 years. Over the years, I have been running around for the development of the Zhu family and my own growth. Now that the family is stable, my relationship with Wanqing has become closer. It can be said that I have achieved success in both love and career. Today, I want to say that although I, Zhu Haoren, may be viewed with mixed reviews, it doesn't matter how you slander me or defame me in the future. Please don't make my beloved woman sad. I, Zhu Haoren, swear that if anyone makes my woman suffer any injustice in the future, I will definitely risk my life to seek justice for Wanqing. Good. Everyone applauded. That is very well said. The old lady of the Xu family said excitedly. Yes, Mom, you are so romantic and responsible. Our Xu family is lucky to have such a son-in-law. Huang Jing said with a smile. Although Qin Xianglian was happy, her eyes never left Zhang Dong. She looked at him with a warning look. Zhang Dong was also very obedient and did not come over, which made her feel relieved. Wanqing, you have suffered a lot over the years. I thought I could share the glory with you after I came back, but I didn't expect that you would take the bullet for me. Thank you for your generosity and tolerance. You are the woman that I, Ju Haren, have decided to spend my life with. To make up for these years, I would like to ask everyone to bear witness. Ju Haren smiled and took out a box from his pocket. He opened it and inside was a diamond ring the size of a pigeon egg. He knelt on one knee, his eyes sincere in expression. Wanqing, I know that I may have many shortcomings, but I am willing to change for you. Give me a chance to protect you for the rest of my life, okay? Xu Wanqing looked at Ju Haren. If she didn't already know who he was, she might have been deceived by his sincere eyes. Originally, she had figured it out last night and accepted her fate. Some even wanted to retreat. She is a woman who longs for flesh and blood love, real love, not to be someone else's plaything. Her eyes secretly scanned the people around her. Some were blessing her, some were mocking her, and some were jealous. Now, under the spotlight, she is the most shining princess. As long as she nodded, stretched out her hand, and said, I do. From now on, you can live a life of lying down. But, is that really the life that Xu Wanqing wants? She felt a little irritated for no reason. But if he refuses, Ju Haren will be in a difficult situation. If they fall out on the spot, the Xu family will not be able to withstand the revenge of the Ju family in the future. Wanqing, marry me. Ju Haren felt a sinking feeling in his heart when he saw Xu Wanqing remained indifferent. Was this bitch going to cause trouble at the proposal ceremony again? Ju Haren suppressed his anger and forced a smile. Wanqing, do you have anything you want to say to me? Aye. Xu Wanqing didn't know what to say for a moment. The Xu family also saw it and kept it in mind. Promise it, Wanqing. Qin Xianglian clenched her hands, her palms slightly sweating, because at this moment, she saw someone walking towards her out of the corner of her eye. It's Zhang Dong. Her heart sank to the bottom. What on earth does he want to do? Chapter 14. You are reluctant, so I come. Zhang Dong saw Xu Wanqing's reluctance. She hesitated. Just then, a man blocked his way. Zhang Dong, what do you want to do? Qin Xianglian stood in front of him and said, It's Wanqing's proposal ceremony now, and all the celebrities in Donghai are watching. Your appearance will only derail things that have finally gotten back on track. You will bring shame to Ju Haren, make Wanqing lose her status as the Ju family's granddaughter-in-law, and let the scandal linger again. Do you want to ruin Wanqing? Please, if you really want to do good for Wanqing, don't ruin her life. Aunt Qin, do you think she is happy now? Zhang Dong pointed at Xu Wanqing, who was in the crowd with a tangled look on her face. Her life was arranged by you. It was not the life she wanted. Don't you think it's really too much to tie your wealth and glory to a weak woman like her? You want to go over there? Qin Xianglian looked at Zhang Dong hatefully because she couldn't respond to what he said. Yes, I want to go. Zhang Dong's eyes were firm. No one can stop me. You will ruin her. Qin Xianglian's eyes revealed a hint of pleading. You are destroying him. Zhang Dong took a deep breath, walked past Qin Xianglian, and walked towards the crowd step by step. Wanqing, will you marry me? I know I have lacked your care in the past 3 years. Please give me a chance to make it up to you. The tenderness in Ju Haren's eyes was gone, and he even began to get angry. Marry Mr. Ju. There are very few men as affectionate and gentle as Mr. Ju. Some even half-jokingly said, Miss Xu, if you don't agree, we will agree. It's hard to find a man like this even with a lantern. Xu Wanqing took a deep breath. Let's get everything back on track. Stop making mistakes, people will eventually have to face reality. She admitted that she did feel a little moved when facing Zhang Dong. There was even a moment when she wanted to drop everything and go with him. Just as she was about to agree, she saw a familiar voice out of the corner of her eye. For some unknown reason, what I wanted to say turned into, I need to think about it. After he finished speaking, the whole audience fell silent. Everyone looked at Xu Wanqing with disbelief. The Xu family was completely confused. Is she crazy? Is there something wrong with her brain? She actually said she would consider it at this time. Wang Jing said. Xu Jinxiong's joy was completely extinguished, and was replaced by panic. What's the difference between Xu Wanqing saying she'd consider it and a tactful refusal? Wouldn't this make Ju Haren lose face? They looked like a loving couple just now, but rejected me in the blink of an eye. Others are not fools. What a mess. The old lady of the Shu family paused heavily on her cane. Qin Xianglian didn't know what to say. She stared at Zhang Dong. All the anger and resentment were blamed on Zhang Dong alone. Zhu Haoren was also stunned, but was replaced by suppressed anger. With so many people watching him, he felt like his face was being rubbed under their feet. Is this the woman who made him lose face in front of so many people and become the laughingstock of East China Sea? Wanqing, we already know each other very well. Don't you want to marry me? Zhu Haoren tried his best to make his expression look more natural. Or do you have any concerns? You can tell me anything. Or is it that someone at the scene disagrees with our union? His eyes swept across the entire audience, and everyone said, young Master Zhu and Miss Xu are match made in heaven. I agree, of course I agree, you two are perfect match. Zhu Haoren nodded in satisfaction. Look, everyone is blessing us. Everyone thinks we are perfect match. So, marry me and let me take care of you for the rest of my life, okay? The more disgusting his words were, the more disgusting Xu Wanqing felt. Especially at this moment, the invisible wounds on her body were rubbing against her clothes and causing her to feel a dull pain. These whip marks were telling her what she had been through. I don't agree. At this moment, an unsociable voice came from the crowd. In an instant, there was a look of disbelief on everyone's face. Who is so bold as to disagree at this time? Everyone looked in the direction of the sound and saw a man wearing a no-name suit worth thousands of dollars standing there. Everyone looked puzzled, not knowing who this man was. But it was obvious that this person came to cause trouble. Many people showed amusement in their eyes. It was going to be a good show. Damn it. I knew this bastard wouldn't let our family have an easy time. Wang Jing gritted her teeth, her face distorted with anger. The old lady of the Shu family was so angry that her hands were shaking. He is going to destroy our Shu family. Xu Jinxiong was furious. He squeezed into the crowd and shouted at Zhang Dong, what are you doing? Didn't I ask you to follow the chairman? Who told you to talk nonsense? As he spoke, he kept apologizing to everyone with a smile. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm just a security guard in our company. I'm sorry for making you laugh. I'll fire him as soon as I get back. He walked to Zhang Dong, took his hand, lowered his voice and said in a warning tone, leave now, I can still spare you. If you insist on doing it, I don't mind spending some money to find someone to kill you. Don't think that Miss Yang will protect you. To her, you are just an insignificant ant. He pulled Zhang Dong to leave, but found that Zhang Dong was as still as a mountain, not moving at all. You don't have to fire me. I'm no longer a security guard for Shu's group. Zhang Dong pulled his hand back. So, now whatever I do or say has nothing to do with Shu's group, so I don't need to listen to you. You? Xu Jinxiong's face felt like it was on fire. Everyone's gazes made him feel extremely embarrassed. Xu Wanqing didn't expect Zhang Dong to stand up. She realized that if Zhang Dong came out at this time, it would only make things worse. The reason why she said she would consider it was mainly to take revenge on Zhu Haoren. The scars on her body can't just go on in vain. Zhang Dong, what do you want to do? Xu Wanqing's face turned cold. You didn't want to, so I came over. Zhang Dong didn't care about everyone's gaze at all. The only person he cares about is Xu Wanqing. Zhang Dong, what are your intentions? Zhu Haoren stood up, pulled Xu Wanqing behind him, opened his arms, and pretended to protect her. Who on earth allowed you to get close to my fiancé? Do you really think that I, Zhu Haoren, am a vegetarian? I have made it very clear just now, no matter who it is, if he dares to have evil thoughts towards my fiancé, I will make him pay the price even if it costs his life. Chapter 15. What a coincidence, uncle, you are here too. Everyone's expression changed again. Interesting, very interesting. This matter has been looked at. Tell me, who is the person behind you? I have offended many people in the past few years. I know very well that they don't like me and hide in dark corners, trying to harm me all the time. Zhu Haoren shouted at the top of his lungs, come on, if I, Zhu Haoren, can frown, I'm not a man. Xu Wanqing also reacted. Zhu Haoren had such superb acting skills that he actually took control of the passive situation into his own hands. The reason he was able to make such a big name was not entirely due to the name of the Yang family. Zhang Dong looked at him calmly, you hit a woman, you are not a man. Zhu Haoren's eyes flashed with anger, don't frame me. Even if I, Zhu Haoren, hit myself, I won't hit a woman. The people around couldn't stand it anymore and accused Zhang Dong, get out, what do you have to do here? Where's the security? Come quickly, take this unknown thing down. I would rather tear down 10 temples than have a marriage. What a wicked thing. It turns out that you directed and manipulated all this. Seeing everyone blaming Zhang Dong, a hint of pride flashed in Zhu Haoren's eyes. Miss Yang is going to be there today, and I don't want a despicable person like you to ruin the atmosphere. Just go on your own and give yourself some dignity. We'll settle the rest later. Zhu Haoren glanced at Zhang Dong, otherwise, if you anger the Yang family, you won't be able to leave even if you want to. Zhang Dong ignored him and looked at Xu Wanqing. I know you are reluctant, and I have also said that as long as you don't want to, no one can force you. You know your own heart very well. You can't do it even if it's just a casual act. Xu Wanqing bit her lips tightly. Everyone looked at her. Her heart told her that Zhang Dong was right. But reason told her that it was right to stand on Zhu Haoren's side at this time. Make yourself clear. You are just a security guard of Xu Group. I don't care who sent you here, but I warn you, if you keep talking nonsense, slandering me, and trying to sow discord between me and my fiancé, I will never let you go. Xu Wanqing warned coldly. Zhu Haoren took advantage of the situation and grabbed Xu Wanqing's hand, as if to prove that their love was stronger than gold. Look, the relationship between us cannot be destroyed by rumors. Since you don't know what's good for you, I'll have to ask someone to ask you to leave. Zhu Haoren shouted outside, security, there's someone causing trouble here, chase him away. Whoosh. A burly security guard ran over from the door. The Yang family's security guards have all been specially trained, and each one of them is of high quality. They were wearing suits, and each of them was over 1.8 meters tall, which gave a very oppressive feeling. The crowd parted and security surrounded them. Everyone had an expression of watching a good show on their faces. This kid is too arrogant. He actually dares to cause trouble at this time. Once he leaves the Yang family, his end will be miserable. Zhu Haoren is well known for his cruel and ruthless heart. Zhang Dong was surrounded inside. Facing their oppression, his eyes didn't even fluctuate much. Just smiled self-deprecatingly. Do you think this is funny? Why can't you just trust me for once? Do you really think Zhu Haoren will help you solve this problem? You are wrong. He will keep you hanging and use this matter to coerce you little by little until your bottom line is broken. At that time, you will be a dish in front of him. The marks of whipping will always accompany you, humiliation will follow you, and your personality and self-esteem will be trampled under him. I have one last question for you, do you believe me? Xu Wanqing held on tightly. Of course she knew what Zhang Dong said was true. But she didn't dare to gamble. You can't gamble either. By playing cozy, the Xu family may be able to get through this difficult time. But if they fall out now, the Xu family will become famous in the East China Sea tomorrow. You really want to know my answer? Yes. Okay, I'll give it to you. Xu Wanqing broke free from Zhu Haoren's hand and walked towards Zhang Dong. The people around were stunned. What's going on? She actually broke free from Zhu Haoren's hand and walked towards Zhang Dong. Could it be that she is going to choose Zhang Dong? The expressions on everyone's faces were enough to open a dying factory. The Xu family was worried again. The old lady of the Xu family was a little nervous. If Qin Xianglian hadn't supported him, he would have been lying on the ground by now. Zhu Haoren gritted his teeth, a violent aura surging in his heart. He swore that if Xu Wanqing really chose Zhang Dong today, he would destroy the Xu family at all costs. Xu Wanqing walked up to Zhang Dong and slapped him in the face. Bang! The crisp sound of slapping echoed throughout the venue. This is my answer, are you satisfied? Xu Wanqing said coldly, take a piss and look in the mirror. Are you worthy of being chosen by me, Xu Wanqing? The Xu family members all breathed a sigh of relief. Xu Jinxiong sneered, Zhang Dong, you are totally asking for trouble. I don't care who is behind you, but the only son-in-law recognized by our Xu family is Haoren. Qin Xianglian also breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Xu Wanqing still chose her family. Although the onlookers did not see the scene they wanted to see, Xu Wanqing's slap was quite powerful. Well done. People who have evil intentions like this should be severely punished. One slap is too little, you should give me more slaps. A teasing voice sounded. Zhang Dong licked the corner of his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood foam, this is the second slap you've given me. This is also what I owe you. I have done everything I should do. Since you don't believe me, then I have nothing to say. This slap also chilled Zhang Dong's heart. This is only Xu Wanqing. If it were any other woman, he would have fought back long ago. Well done, you are worthy of being my, Zhu Hairen's, woman. To deal with such a scoundrel, you should strike hard. Zhu Hairen walked forward with a laugh and put his arms around Xu Wanqing's slender waist, completely ignoring her resistance. He looked down at Zhang Dong and said, "Did you hear me clearly? Can you get out of here now? Whether I leave or not is none of your business." Zhang Dong sneered. A hint of violence flashed in Zhu Hairen's eyes, and he raised his hand to hit Zhang Dong. The slap was about to fall. Zhang Dong dodged easily and Zhu Hairen missed. The next second, Zhang Dong raised his foot. Bang! He kicked Zhu Hairen in the stomach with such great force that he lifted him into the air. Then he fell heavily to the ground. Bang! The fall almost killed Zhu Hairen. He felt as if all his internal organs were mixed up. He sat up with difficulty, opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of bitter bile, and a raging rage burned up. Zhang Dong brushed off the dust on his feet. I owe her, not you. Since I dare to break your left hand, you might as well guess whether I dare to break your right hand. The whole place was dead silent. Everyone's face was filled with disbelief. They didn't expect that Zhang Dong, a lowly security guard, would dare to take action. The Xu family members began to tremble uncontrollably because of fear. Xu Wanqing hurried over to support Zhu Hairen. Hairen, are you okay? At this moment, Zhu Hairen wished he could tear Xu Wanqing to pieces. He slapped Xu Wanqing's hand away and said to the security guards, "You just let him beat me." Finished. Xu Wanqing knew that Zhang Dong had completely poked the hornet's nest. By disrupting the Yang family's banquet, he offended the Yang family as well. The security guard rubbed his hands together, his eyes fierce. They narrowed the encirclement step by step, and Zhang Dong stood in the middle, his eyes still calm. At the critical moment, a delicate voice shouted, "Stop!" Swish! Everyone looked in the direction of the sound. A woman with a graceful figure and a pretty face walked over from not far away. It's the eldest daughter of the Yang family, Yang Ying is here. Many people recognized Angelababy, but most of them were in international magazines. Angelababy was wearing a white evening dress, and her strong aura made people feel timid. Missy. Hello, miss, welcome to my engagement party. Zhu Hairen quickly endured the severe pain in his chest, pulled Xu Wanqing, walked towards the person who came and spoke enthusiastically. Angelababy nodded and looked Xu Wanqing up and down. Yes, she was indeed a peerless beauty. Master Zhu is quite lucky. But when she saw Zhu Hairen's ugly face and dust on his dress, she asked, "Isn't today your engagement party? Why is it so wasteful?" Zhu Hairen hurriedly said, "Oh, I was too excited just now and accidentally fell down. Walk more carefully next time." Angelababy said, and at this moment, she caught a glimpse of a familiar figure out of the corner of her eye. She turned her head suddenly and saw that the corners of her mouth could not stop trembling and tears welled up in her eyes. "Thank you, Miss Guan." Before he could finish his words, he saw Angelababy walking towards Zhang Dong. Everyone was stunned, and then they heard the eldest lady say, "What a coincidence, uncle, you are here too." Chapter 16, Crazy with Jealousy. Zhang Dong smiled bitterly and looked at Yang Ying, not knowing what to say for a moment. Zhu Hairen was completely dumbfounded. Did he hear it right? The eldest lady said, "Finally found him? Does she know Zhang Dong?" There was a storm in his heart. Xu Wanqing also looked at Zhang Dong in a daze. How is it possible that the eldest daughter of the Yang family actually talked to Zhang Dong in person? Even though he appeared calm on the surface, ripples had already appeared in his heart, and he felt a bad feeling. Xu Jinxiong and others were so stunned that they didn't even want to talk about it. The old lady of the Xu family stammered, "Miss, do you know him? His name is Zhang Dong, and he is a security guard of our Xu group." As the old lady of the Xu family spoke, her face darkened. She looked at Zhang Dong and shouted in a low voice, "Zhang Dong, why don't you greet the young lady quickly, you have no manners." Xu Chao even jumped out and yelled at Zhang Dong, "The young lady is talking to you, are you dumb?" After scolding him, he said to Yang Ying in a flattering manner, "Miss, this little security guard has never seen the world and is dumb and can't speak. Please don't be offended." When Yang Ying heard them yelling at Zhang Dong, she became furious. But she was extremely surprised in her heart. Zhang Dong works as a security guard in Shu Group. The male god in her mind, her only belief in this life, was actually despised by others. At that moment, her sharp eye swept over the old lady of the Shu family and Shu Chao. The two were so frightened that their hearts skipped a beat. "I'm talking to him, is it your turn to interrupt?" The powerful aura made them dare not say a word. Zhang Dong thought about it and decided that this would not be a good idea. He did not want too many people to know his identity and affect his peaceful life. "Hello, miss." Zhang Dong's eyelids drooped, and he bowed slightly, his tone revealing a sense of distance, which made Yang Ying's heart tremble. However, she was so smart. Zhang Dong was a security guard here. If she recognized him on the spot, wouldn't it embarrass him? "Well, you look a lot like a friend I know." Angelababy smiled slightly and made an apologetic expression. "I have a common face and often bump into others." Zhang Dong laughed and said, "It happens that a friend of mine's birthday is coming up in a few days, and I plan to buy him a birthday present. You have a similar figure to his, can you be my model?" Wow! The crowd was shocked. Angelababy actually invited Zhang Dong to be a model. Zhu Haoran took a deep breath. "Miss, why don't you let me go?" His sharp eye swept over Zhang Dong, as if warning him, he's just a security guard and doesn't know how to speak. What if he offends you? Before he could finish, Yang Ying waved her hand and said, "You are not as tall or strong as him, but he is quite good. Not only do you look similar to him, but you are also similar in stature." Xu Jinxiong and others were also full of disbelief, and Xu Chao was even jealous to the point of going crazy. After saying this, Yang Ying turned to Zhu Haoran and said, "By the way, Master Zhu, I have been negotiating a project in Donghai recently. Now the project is progressing very smoothly. I want to hold a celebration dinner tonight while all the celebrities in Donghai are here. I wonder if Master Zhu can give me this opportunity." When Zhu Haoran heard this, he quickly nodded and agreed, "Don't worry, miss, this is absolutely no problem. I originally wanted to hold a small engagement ceremony tonight. Since you have a request, I will definitely make concessions to you. I will arrange for someone to set up the venue." Yang Ying nodded with satisfaction. "Thank you for your hard work. I will also invite some people from the Donghai officialdom to attend the celebration banquet. It's not hard, it's not hard. It's what I should do." Yang Ying ignored Zhu Haoran and looked at Zhang Dong and asked, "Are you willing to come with me?" Yang Ying blinked at Zhang Dong, who simply ignored Zhu Haoran and smiled bitterly. Okay, let's go now." Angelababy made a gesture and the driver quickly got out of the car and opened the door. Xu Wanqing looked at Zhang Dong with a little concern. "You must be respectful to the young lady and not offend her in any way, understand?" She originally thought that Angelababy knew Zhang Dong, but now it seems that Zhang Dong just looks like one of her friends. After all, Zhang Dong is just a security guard and has never seen the world. If he really offends the young lady, the consequences will be unimaginable. Zhang Dong nodded towards Xu Wanqing. The group stared blankly at the convoy leaving. Really gone. Damn it, what if he talks back to the young lady? Xu Jinxiong cursed angrily. "Xu Wanqing, send a message to Zhang Dong and warn him not to be disrespectful to the young lady." "Zhang Dong is not stupid." Xu Wanqing replied coldly. Zhu Haoran sneered and called to arrange for someone to quickly set up the scene. Since the eldest lady wanted to hold a celebration banquet, the engagement ceremony would have to be shelved. "Come to the lounge." Zhu Haoran closed the door with his backhand and slapped Xu Wanqing in the face. "Bitch, I proposed to you just now, why didn't you agree?" A slap mark suddenly appeared on the pink face. He grabbed Xu Wanqing's neck, his eyes full of bloodthirstiness and cruelty. "You deliberately delayed time to lure Zhang Dong over so that I could become a joke. You are taking revenge on me, right?" Xu Wanqing had difficulty breathing, but her eyes remained calm. "I don't have to. It's already this time, and you still want to pretend." Zhu Haoran gradually increased his strength. "You asked me to propose to you, but you wavered at the critical moment. Do you think I don't know what you are thinking? I warn you for the last time, don't test my bottom line, because you can't afford the consequences. Isn't my answer clear enough?" Xu Wanqing said with some difficulty. "Xu Wanqing, you are such a good actor. I admit that I underestimated you before. I didn't expect that a woman like you from a third-rate family would have such skills. I am more and more interested in you now. Ju Haoran sneered, you've already figured out that Zhang Dong is not a simple person. Tell me, who is he? He is the security guard of Shu Group. Fart. Ju Haoran yelled hysterically, he's just an ordinary security guard. I wouldn't dare to do anything to him even if I gave him 10 times the courage. Do you really think Ju Haoran, am a fool? Tell me his true identity, otherwise, after tonight, the Shu family will be expelled from Donghai. It was Zhang Dong who beat you up. What does it have to do with the Shu family? Xu Wanqing gritted her teeth and said, Ju Haoran, I really overestimated you. You are actually afraid of a little security guard. You're looking for death. Ju Haoran slapped Xu Wanqing in the face again. Blood oozed from the corner of Xu Wanqing's mouth. I am the eldest grandson of the Ju family. Would I be afraid of a little security guard? Xu Wanqing, angering me will not do you any good. Oh, incompetent men can only get angry and hit women. Ju Haoran, Zhang Dong is right, you are really not a man. Because of lack of oxygen, Xu Wanqing felt dizzy, but the contempt in her eyes became more and more intense. Come on, keep hitting me, it's better to kill me, then you Ju Haoran will be a real man. If you stop, I will despise you. That look hurt Ju Haoran deeply. His broken left hand and the stomach that was kicked by Zhang Dong were both aching. His eyes seemed to be spitting fire. Seeing Xu Wanqing's face turning pale, Ju Haoran came to his senses. If Xu Wanqing died, he would be a murderer. By then, his future would be ruined. He loosened his hand, letting Xu Wanqing catch her breath. He pinched Xu Wanqing's face and said, compared to killing you, I have a more interesting idea. Chapter 17 Exclusive Logo. He leaned close to Xu Wanqing's pink neck, took a deep breath, and his face suddenly showed an intoxicated look. Continue what we didn't finish in the car during the day. Xu Wanqing's face changed, you're crazy. There are people outside. I know there are people outside, so what? Ju Haoran sneered, I'm just checking. The real show will be at night. You can leave this room, but I can also choose not to bless the Shu family. Think about your parents, who are too old to enjoy their old age. It would be tragic to think about their whole family living on the streets. Xu Wanqing bit her lip. Shu Group has contributed half of her efforts, but she did it more for her parents. Once the Shu Group falls, Ju Haoran will definitely not let him go. I'll give you 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, even if you take off all your clothes and kneel in front of me, I won't even look at you. Ju Haoran was confident and had a firm grasp on Xu Wanqing's lifeline. If Xu Wanqing was really that strong-willed, she would have broken off relations with him long ago and would not have compromised. His eye swept over Xu Wanqing. 10 seconds passed quickly, and a hint of self-mockery flashed in Xu Wanqing's eyes. This was probably her fate. She turned away and pushed her hair aside. Ju Haoran said coldly, are you leaving? No, I can't zip up the back of my skirt. You, come on. Shame and helplessness. When Xu Wanqing said this, her inner defenses completely collapsed. Ju Haoran's eyes were extremely fiery. In the past 3 years, he has traveled through the sea of flowers. What kind of women has he not seen? I don't know how many women's clothes I have taken off. Logically speaking, he should have been numb long ago. But when Xu Wanqing said this, he felt an intense rush of energy in his heart, a strong feeling that almost made him lose control of himself. Although this bitch is lowly, she is still okay after teaching her a lesson. And there is that bitch Chen Ya, who has brought shame to him. One day, he will take her down too. When the time comes, I will make them both kneel in front of me and beg for mercy. Just thinking about it made Ju Haoran feel excited. He pinched the zipper with his fingers and slid it down gently. Xu Wanqing trembled all over, her nose felt sore, and tears almost fell. But she bit her lips hard until they were broken, and then she held back her tears. Ju Haoran's throat moved, and looking at the pink belt, he had an urge to tear it into pieces. However, the ugly bruises on her back ruined the overall beauty. They were bloody, and if you got close you could smell the smell of medicine and blood. Suddenly, the feeling of wanting to punish her on the spot disappeared without a trace. The hand stopped and did not fall for a long time. Xu Wanqing took a deep breath. Why, you don't want to check? Ju Haoran, you haven't played with too many women in the past few years, right? Ju Haoran took his hand back and lit a cigar. No, I'm just admiring my own masterpiece. These are all my love for you. I just thought that this alone was not enough. Xu Wanqing had a bad feeling in her heart. With a click, Ju Haran lit a cigar, and through the mirror in the room, she could see that Ju Haran was smoking. He exhaled a puff of smoke and grinned. No matter who Jong Dong is, no matter who sent him, and no matter what his purpose is, I will make him die in front of you. But before he dies, I will torture you severely in front of him and let him feast his eyes. After saying that, he left the lounge. Xu Wanqing knelt weakly on the ground, tears streaming down her face. Numb face, aching back, her body was not clean anymore. Just like Ju Haran said, the pain was directly imprinted in her heart. Her dignity was crushed by Ju Haran. What Jong Dong said was not entirely true. In his eyes, I might not even be a plaything. She is Xu Wanqing, the executive vice president of the Xu family, who single-handedly pushed the Xu family from the bottom to a third-rate family. I haven't lost yet, and I can't lose. Whether it's for my parents or myself, I can't lose. She looked in the mirror and slowly zipped up her pants. She put on some blush to cover up the palm prints on her face. After closing the makeup box, a smile appeared on her face. The confident and beautiful Xu Wanqing was back. Meanwhile, in the back seat of the Rolls-Royce, Angelababy pulled down the partition, and only Jong Dong and Angelababy were in the enclosed space. Jong Dong smiled bitterly. I really didn't expect it to be you. Girls change a lot when they grow up. You've changed so much, and you've become more beautiful. Back then, Jong Dong was 24, and the little girl in front of him was only in her teens. Now Jong Dong is 35, and she is in her 20s. The 10-year difference between childhood and adulthood is a world of difference. Yang Ying also felt aggrieved. Why have you been avoiding me all these years? If you don't do well, you will be ashamed to see people. Angelababy said domineeringly, as long as I'm here, who dares to say that my uncle is not doing well? As long as my uncle asks, the entire Yang family industry can be yours. As she spoke, Angelababy was domineering and relaxed, and she leaned forward. If I hadn't met you by chance during this kidnapping, I don't know how long I would have been looking for you. The rich body fragrance rushed straight into Jong Dong's nose, and he immediately reacted. He avoided Yang Ying awkwardly. Don't talk nonsense, sit over there first, give me some buffer time, after all, we haven't seen each other for too long. Have your feelings towards me changed? Yang Ying's eyes were slightly red. Since you disappeared, do you know how I have been living these years? I know that the power in my hands is too small, so I keep working hard and keep making myself stronger, because only in this way can I mobilize more resources to find you. No one knows that the reason why Angelababy became a business prodigy is because of Jong Dong. Others envied her achievements, but she just wanted to find him. It would be a lie to say that I wasn't moved. It's not that Jong Dong is inferior, but the gap between them is too big. You should have seen it back then. This is unrealistic. I'm already 35 and you're only in your 20s. When I become an old man, you'll still be a stunning beauty. Uncle-nephew relationships are all the rage right now. Angelababy buried her face in his chest. After 3 years, she finally felt the solid chest again. But suddenly, she thought of something. Uncle, why did you become a security guard at Xu's group? With your ability. This is a long story. Let's not talk about it for now. He also looked at Angelababy carefully. Angelababy was very beautiful when she was young. Now she has become more mature, with a more mature woman's air. Her hairstyle has changed. The beauty at that moment made Jong Dong sigh. That time is ruthless. No matter who you are now, you are the only uncle in my heart. Now that I have found you, I will never leave. I will stay with you and accompany you to make a comeback. Xiaoyin, you don't have to stay with me. You have your life and I have mine. Uncle, don't lose heart. This time, I will protect you. Angelababy said very firmly. Jong Dong smiled. Over the years, apart from his family, no one cared about him so much. This feeling was pretty good. Soon the car arrived at the most prosperous commercial street in Donghai, which has the most luxurious luxury brands in the world, and half of the industries here are invested by the Yang family. Knowing that Angelababy was coming, the streets were blocked in advance. In this way, Angelababy can go shopping quietly without bumping into other people. What excites her most is shopping with the person she loves. Really, you don't need to buy it. No, you are the protagonist tonight, you must dress handsomely. I am the protagonist. Jong Dong was confused. Take out your ID card and have a good look at it. Angelababy ignored him and took Zhang Dong's hand and walked into Hermes. Zhang Dong took out his ID card and took a look at it, then showed some helplessness. It turned out that his birthday was coming soon. No one remembered this for many years, and Zhang Dong himself had never celebrated his birthday. Bring out the most expensive and best suits in your store. Miss Yan, this is our latest summer purchase, and it costs 3 million. I bought it. These shoes cost 800,000. I bought it. The belt costs 500,000. I bought it. In a short time, Angelababy spent tens of millions. She not only bought one set for Zhang Dong, but bought 4 or 5 sets for rotation. Zhang Dong didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm just a security guard. You bought so many expensive suits, but I don't even have a chance to wear them. Leave Shu's group, I'll give you my position, I'll help you. Yang Ying held Zhang Dong's face. My uncle, how can you be a security guard? Stop it. Zhang Dong said, Xiaoyin, although this may make you sad, you have your life and I have mine. I am tired of the previous life. This ordinary life is also good. Yang Ying was silent for a while, then said, Okay, I respect your choice, but there is one thing, you are not allowed to run away anymore. Okay, I promise you. Zhang Dong nodded. Change your clothes. Here. What are you afraid of? It's not like you haven't seen it before. Angelababy's pretty face turned slightly red, and her charming big eyes were full of shyness. Zhang Dong shook his head and said nothing. He took off his shirt and revealed his muscular body. His body was covered with scars that were crisscrossed and interlaced. Yang Ying reached out her hand with some distress and touched the scar. It hurts a lot. Following the scar upwards, several fresh scratches caught Yang Ying's attention. Her expression suddenly changed, revealing a hint of hostility. Uncle, this new scar of yours, could it be that it was scratched when you spent the night with Xu Wanqing last time? Chapter 18 Jealousy. This. Zhang Dong was a little embarrassed. This was indeed what Xu Wanqing left behind last night. Yang Ying sighed deeply, feeling jealous. It's never happened between the two of us. Seeing Yang Ying's misunderstanding, Zhang Dong quickly waved his hands. It's not what you think. Didn't I tell you everything? It's a misunderstanding. I understand. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Now we've met each other. You can come find me later. Yang Ying bit her lip. My most precious thing has been kept for you to take. Zhang Dong knew that he couldn't explain himself clearly, so he just kept silent. Seeing Zhang Dong blushing, Yang Ying immediately covered her mouth and laughed. Uncle, you are still as thin-skinned as before. As Zhang Dong put on his suit, he said, Thank you for not revealing my identity today. Also, there is something I want to remind you of. What's up? Be careful of Zhu Haoran. Zhang Dong said, although it's not nice to say bad things about someone behind their back, that guy is definitely not a good person, and he is very cunning and will do anything to achieve his goals, like a poisonous snake hiding in the dark, so I suggest you don't have any deep contact with him. I know. Don't worry. If it weren't for the fact that I wanted to see you, I wouldn't have taken Zhu Haoran seriously. It's just that this person has a good status in the East China Sea. The Yang family had a few projects before, so we helped him along. Seeing Yang Ying say this, Zhang Dong nodded with relief. It's not easy to live in a big family, right? Big families are fighting for power. They will do anything to gain power and assets. I'm used to it. Yang Ying has long since taken everything lightly. What's mine is mine. No one can take it away from me. If anyone dares to take it away, I will break his hand. Very domineering. Uncle, you forgot, this is what you taught me. Yang Ying blinked her big eyes and said, But, are you really in love with that beautiful CEO? Do you want me to help you get rid of Zhu Haoran? No, you don't need to help with such a small matter. I, Zhang Dong, am not made of clay. I can handle it myself. Angelababy knows Zhang Dong's character very well, and no one can change what he has decided. Okay, but if you have anything to say, you must come to me. I dare not say where else, but in the East China Sea, whoever dares to touch you, I will make him die without a burial place. Thank you, Xiaoyin. We are direct, no need to say thank you. Yang Ying picked up a tie worth 100,000 yuan and helped Zhang Dong put it on. Uncle, you look so handsome in a suit. A man in his 30s is at his prime and most attractive. Those deep eyes that have seen the world are full of stories. The inverted triangle figure sets off the suit to perfection. I just need this set. I will pay you back the money slowly. Although I don't earn much now, I will pay you in installments. Jong Dawn scratched his head and said, Uncle, is it necessary for us to be so distant? Yang Ying said sadly, compared to what you gave me before, what does this mean? Let's not talk about the past. Jong Dawn said with a sigh. Don't mention the money anymore. Angelababy's eyes were red again, and she looked as if she was going to cry for you if you mention it again. Oh well. Jong Dawn said. Since you don't want others to disturb your life, and you don't want me to disturb you too much, then let me leave someone to help you deal with some things. No need, I'm just a security guard, why would I need? Uncle. Yang Ying looked at her seriously, just think of it as me planting an eyeliner next to you, so that I can sleep more peacefully at night. I haven't slept peacefully for a long time. Her words made Jong Dawn feel distressed. Oh well. Seeing Jong Dawn nod, Angelababy took out her cell phone and sent a voice message, followed by a tall, mature beauty in a black OL uniform who walked in. Miss. This is my uncle. From today on, you will follow him and do whatever he tells you to do. In front of outsiders, Yang Ying regained her superior attitude and said, Remember, your mission is to make my uncle happy. Yes, miss. Chen Yue replied respectfully, and then said to Jong Dawn, Hello, Brother Dawn, I am the eldest lady's personal secretary. From now on, I will be responsible for your daily life. Responsible for daily life? Jong Dawn was stunned. Doesn't that mean she will become his personal secretary? The kind that can warm the bed. No need. I'm not old and I can take care of myself. You just do what you usually do and stay with Xiaoyin. If there is anything, I'll find you. Jong Dawn waved his hands repeatedly. Yes, Brother Dawn. Chen Yue said respectfully. You get out first. Yang Ying waved her hand and Chen Yue left. She said, This Chen Yue has been with me for 3 years. I trained her myself. She is quite capable. You can do whatever you want. Besides, she is still a virgin. Chapter 19. Do you want to marry Xu Wanqing? Jong Dawn didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and didn't know what to say for a moment. In order to change the subject, he said, By the way, I won't be attending the celebration banquet tonight. You don't want to go? No, I just don't want to draw too much attention. Jong Dawn said, My current identity is out of place. Okay, I promise. Yang Ying took Jong Dawn's hand, bought some clothes, and asked with concern, How is Auntie now? 3 years ago, I accompanied her on her last journey. There was inextricable sadness and self-blame in Jong Dawn's eyes. If he had come back earlier, maybe his mother could have been saved. Aunt, she's gone. Yang Ying covered her mouth, tears welling up in her eyes. Why didn't you call me? Jong Dawn smiled bitterly. She left with a smile on her face the last time she left. Yang Ying wanted to blame him, but then she thought that Jong Dawn was the one who suffered the most. It's hard to change. He is so decadent and unkempt now. This incident was a huge blow to him. In my impression, Jong Dawn always held his head high with a confident smile on his face. But now, there is only fatigue in Jong Dawn's eyes. Where's your sister? Go to school. Jong Dawn said, Shu Group is not far from the school. Hug. Yang Ying hugged Jong Dawn and said, I will always be here. Thanks. After leaving the pedestrian street, Jong Dawn sent Yang Ying back to the manor. He suddenly turned around and said, Uncle, please follow me through the back door to my room. I want to celebrate a birthday that belongs to you and me alone before you leave. Seeing Angelababy's eager look, she thought it was not an excessive request. After hesitating for a moment, she followed her into the elevator through the back door. When they arrived at the room, it was an extra-large presidential suite. Angelababy asked Jong Dawn to sit in the living room and wait for a while, and then she went into the room to change clothes. After a while, Angelababy changed her clothes and opened the door, and what she saw was a mind-boggling scene. Angelababy stood there, wearing a sparkling dress, her hair piled high, perfect facial features, and fashionable jewelry, looking incredibly beautiful. She was wearing high heels and was even half a head taller than Jong Dawn. Her slender thighs, hollow back, delicate collarbone, and even that breathtakingly deep white complexion made it difficult to take your eyes off her for a long time. She was like a goddess who had fallen into the mortal world, noble and unattainable. Any blasphemy is disrespectful to her. Am I beautiful? Angelababy put her hands in front of her body, looking dignified and high-handed, and the smile on the corner of her mouth made everyone else feel inferior. It's so beautiful that I dare not look directly at it. No, you have to look straight ahead. Yang Ying stepped forward and said, because this is the dress I prepared especially for you, and I want you to be the first to see it. Originally, I prepared a birthday present for you, but now it seems that you won't accept it. What gift? Zhang Dong asked curiously. Guess. Yang Ying blinked her big eyes and said, if you guess it right, I'll give it to you. Zhang Dong shook his head. Whatever you give me must be very valuable. Even if you give it to me, I may not dare to accept it. No, you must. Yang Ying said stubbornly, I just can't accept it in my heart. It's been 3 years. I have been looking for you for 3 years. During these 3 years, I have been learning every day to make myself better, because I am afraid that I am not worthy of you. But I didn't expect that when I found you, other women had already gotten there. Uncle, I know that in your heart, you have always treated me as your junior, but in my heart, since the time I met you, you have been the only man in my life. I have decided on you in my heart, and I will never marry anyone but you in this life. Zhang Dong was somewhat moved. Angelababy's role and weight in his heart were also very special. I'm just a security guard in my 30s, and you're the eldest daughter of the Yang family, a business tycoon, with hundreds of thousands of people working for you. You can dominate them with just a word. Our status is too different. Zhang Dong said, you will meet a better man than me, I am not worthy. No, you are worthy. If you are not worthy, then no man in the world is worthy. I would rather die alone and be a virgin for the rest of my life than get married. Angelababy seemed to be sulking, or acting coquettishly under duress, as if she wanted Zhang Dong to coax her. Zhang Dong had no choice but to comfort her patiently, you should also consider my feelings. I am just a small security guard. I am not worthy of you in terms of status, money or power. I also don't want to be labeled as a gigolo. When I am old, you will still be stunningly beautiful, and people who don't know you will think you are my daughter. You're still blaming me, aren't you? Yang Ying's eyes were red. If I hadn't been so willful and stubborn, they wouldn't have. Okay, that's all in the past. Zhang Dong's voice suddenly rose, interrupting Yang Ying, that matter has nothing to do with you, and it's not your fault. That is their responsibility, and it is also my responsibility. Okay, I won't say anything then. Yang Ying knew that this incident would be a lifelong pain in Zhang Dong's heart. If she could go back in time, she would never have made that decision. Uncle, no, Zhang Dong, I don't want to be your little niece under your wings anymore, I want to be your peer, I want to be your woman. Angelababy held his hand, her eyes sincere and eager. Zhang Dong pulled his hand back calmly, no way, I won't marry you. Yang Ying raised her head, her eyes misty, Yu Li, do you want to marry Xu Wanqing? In order to stop her from thinking this, Zhang Dong gritted his teeth and said, that's right. Chapter 20 That woman is not worth it. That woman is not worth it at all. I know what's going on, said Zhang Dong. Am I not as good as her? No, you're fine. Zhang Dong smiled bitterly and said, I am not worthy of you. How do you know if I'm good or not if you haven't even tried? Zhang Dong was stunned, and then Angelababy wrapped around him like a beautiful snake. The white arms and the fragrance of the woman made Zhang Dong stiffen. Hot breath sprayed on his face. Xiaoyin. Zhang Dong tried to push her away with his hands, but in his panic, he pushed the wrong place. The smoothness and elasticity of his hands made Zhang Dong tremble all over. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Yang Ying's pretty face was slightly red, but her eyes were particularly firm. If it's an uncle, it's okay, I can let the uncle taste it anytime. The sexy red lips and the enchanting words almost ignited Zhang Dong's blood. He couldn't help but look down and saw that breathtaking whiteness. The flaming red lips pressed against his, and Zhang Dong quickly turned his head to avoid her kiss. Xiaoyin, don't do this. Zhang Dong grabbed her arm, pulled it apart forcefully, and then took a step back. Angelababy's charm is hard for any man to resist. So he can't get too close. He has already made a mistake and can't make the same mistake again. Why can she do it but I can't? Yang Ying bit her lip, her big eyes full of grievance. You keep saying I'm good, but you don't touch me, which shows that I'm no match for her in your eyes. Please stop provoking me. You know very well that it won't work on me. Zhang Dong understands Angelababy just as she understands him. He has watched her grow up almost since she was a child. That kind of feeling is not love, but family affection. The grievance in Yang Ying's eyes disappeared, replaced by helplessness. You knew she wouldn't marry you, but you still wanted to hang yourself on a tree. Zhang Dong said, "How do you know if you don't try? I will snatch you away. Today, for your sake, I will let her go. If there is a next time, there will be no need for the Shu family to exist." Yang Ying said firmly, "As for Zhu Haoren, although you don't let me interfere too much, I will definitely take action at the critical moment. I want to make sure you are safe. If he disrespects you, what can I do even if I destroy the Zhu family?" Zhang Dong smiled bitterly. If Yang Ying said so, he would definitely do it. He was silent for a while, then said, "Since it's my birthday, can't you say something happy? Fighting and killing doesn't seem like a birthday at all. Then I'll give you another gift." "It's too expensive, I don't dare to accept it," said Zhang Dong. Yang Ying approached again, "I'll give myself to you." Zhang Dong knew that this was what Yang Ying wanted to say just now. He shook his head helplessly, and finally took out something from his pocket. It was a necklace made of a bullet shell. "You celebrated my birthday, and I will also celebrate your birthday in advance. I made it with my own hands, so don't despise it. No, from now on, if it's something you give me, I'll like it." Angelababy was overjoyed. After taking the bullet-shaped necklace, she took off the expensive necklace worth tens of millions from her neck without hesitation and threw it aside like garbage. In her eyes, 10 or 100 necklaces like this are not as good as the one Zhang Dong gave her. "Can you put it on for me?" Angelababy lifted her hair, revealing her slender swan neck and elegant temperament, which made people not have the slightest blasphemous thoughts. Zhang Dong walked behind her and put the necklace on her. "Do you know what it means to give a girl a necklace and then help her put it on?" Angelababy asked. "Have no idea." Yang Ying knew Zhang Dong would say this a long time ago. She said, "Giving a girl a necklace means you want to keep her heart forever." Zhang Dong smiled awkwardly. "I didn't think that much, don't think too much. Anyway, my heart has already been tied to you." Yang Ying was passionate and bold. She didn't believe that she would be no match for Xu Wanqing under her attack. "Does it look good?" The brass bullet head fell into the whiteness, making people want to look at it more. Zhang Dong retracted his gaze. "Well, my birthday is over, I won't attend the celebration party. Thank you for the gift you gave me, I like it very much." If what happened had not happened, Zhang Dong might never have any contact with Angelababy again in his life. As long as this matter is dealt with, he can return to his ordinary and peaceful life. Watching Zhang Dong leave, Yang Ying tightly grasped the bullet head around her neck. At this moment, she felt a trace on the bullet head. She looked closely and saw a date on it. When she saw the date, she shuddered all over. This is the day she makes her decision. Yang Ying's eyes were extremely complicated. Has he really let it go? "Miss." Just then, Chen Yue came over. Yang Ying regained her former aura. "You did a good job. In the future, you will give priority to reporting anything related to the uncle. No matter what I do, he will be the priority. Do you understand?" "Yes, miss." Chen Yue nodded. "Do you need me to make arrangements for Xu Wanqing?" "No, but you have to keep a close eye on her. If she dares to continue to attack me, I will not let her go. A daughter of a third-rate family is not even worthy of my uncle's toe." Yang Ying clenched her fists. "And Zhu Haoren, keep an eye on him too, I won't allow this uncle to get hurt in the slightest." "I understand, but it's not easy to follow Brother Dong. There's no need to track him, you just need his approximate location and make sure he is safe. He just locked his heart with a lock. Once the lock is opened, the beast in his heart will be released. By then, the entire East China Sea will tremble under his feet. So, I'm giving you a task. You have to find a way to gain his trust and try to release the beast in his heart." Chen Yue understood what Yang Ying meant and her face turned red, but at the same time, she also heard the deeper meaning behind Yang Ying's words. "Miss, wouldn't it be better if you released the beast in his heart yourself?" Yang Ying took a deep breath and said, "I know, but I have more important things to deal with now. I am not afraid to tell you that the Yang family arranged a marriage for me. Do you know who it is? Zhao family, Zhao Rulong. Is that Zhao Rulong, the man who said those who obey him will prosper, and those who disobey him will perish?" Chapter 21 Protection. Yang Ying nodded. "That's him. This is troublesome. It's a bit tricky, so you have to take good care of him for me until I can solve this problem. Angelababy said. Miss, don't worry, I will do my best. I have always believed in you. In fact, you don't need to worry so much. He didn't even touch me, let alone you. If he touches you, he will definitely be responsible for you. Angelababy said, although he is a security guard now, you don't know how glorious his past was. And I don't believe that he has been living a mediocre life for the past 3 years. He is not that kind of person. Chen Yue also became very interested in Zhang Dong at this time. What kind of past does a man who could make a young lady fall in love with him have? A man who can make a young lady fall in love with him must have a unique charm. Good. Angelababy has always been confident in her judgment of people, and she is not at all humble at this moment, because in her eyes, Zhang Dong is a perfect man. In short, you have to take my instructions to heart. Also, the matter between Zhao Rulong and I must be kept secret. Don't let him know. Do you understand? Angelababy explained again and again. I understand, Missy. Yang Ying nodded. Let's go, it's time for the celebration banquet to begin, and it's time to meet the so-called Queen of the East China Sea. At the banquet, all the celebrities had already taken their seats and were waiting. Many big names from the East China Sea regime came later, making the scale of the banquet several times larger than the original engagement banquet. Xu Wanqing held his arm with a charming smirk on her face. When Zhang Dong came out from upstairs, he forgot to go through the back door for a moment, and immediately attracted a lot of people's attention. At this moment, I just want to leave the party immediately. This kind of place is not suitable for him now. With Angelababy's help, the engagement party has been cancelled, so there is no reason for me to stay here any longer. But more people were curious about what Zhang Dong said when he was taken away by the eldest lady. Does this person have a deeper relationship with the eldest lady? Many people nodded to Zhang Dong, and some even wanted to chat with him. Even though he was wearing a cheap brand suit worth several $1,000s. Zhang Dong looked calm and didn't talk to anyone. At this moment, he saw Xu Wanqing. Zhang Dong didn't know how to explain the equally puzzled look. I had to turn my head away and miss their eyes. Walk out without saying a word. Xu Wanqing pursed her lips and watched Zhang Dong walk towards the door, her heart suddenly aching. He wants to leave, right? It's better to leave, so as not to cause trouble to yourself. At this moment, Zhu Haoran suddenly sneered, and several figures in the crowd walked towards Zhang Dong. They were not moving very fast and kept a certain distance from Zhang Dong. Xu Wanqing's heart tightened. He knew without thinking that these people must be Zhu Haoran's men. He is going to take action. We can't let Zhang Dong go. Angelababy is here. Zhu Haoran doesn't dare to take action for fear of disturbing the atmosphere of the celebration banquet. But as long as Zhang Dong walks out, Zhu Haoran will be free from his restraints and will surely die. What to do? Call him? No, that would only further intensify the balance that she and Zhu Haoran had briefly reached. Xu Wanqing didn't know why she cared so much about the life and death of a small security guard. Maybe she just couldn't bear it. After all, he had been working in Xu Group for 3 years, and he saw them every day. Thinking of this, she called Zhang Dong. The sudden shouting made the smile on Zhu Haoran's face freeze, and the people around him once again showed a look of watching a good show. Xu Jinxiong stepped forward and lowered his voice and asked, Wanqing, what do you want to do? Zhu Haoran's eyes flickered, and deep inside was a suppressed killing intent. What do you want to do now? I just went to the bathroom and saw Zhang Dong acting suspiciously. He seemed to be doing something bad. I suspect he did something bad. Xu Wanqing said coldly, everyone's better check your personal belongings to see if anything is missing. I suggest calling the police and calling them over to investigate. Hearing this, everyone looked at Zhang Dong with contempt. Who is this person? Why would Miss Yang call such a despicable person over? The lower class is the lower class. He is not worthy of entering such a high-class occasion. I took a look and luckily my stuff is still there. Otherwise, I would not have let him go. But there's no need to call the police. After all, it was the young lady who called us here personally. Just let him go for her sake. Everyone was still concerned about Angelababy. Although she had not appeared from beginning to end, Chen Yue's appearance was enough to make them in awe. Xu Wanqing took out her handbag and looked through it. Her expression changed slightly. The valuable jewelry in my bag is missing. Zhang Dong, did you steal it? Zhang Dong frowned, not understanding what Xu Wanqing was trying to do. I didn't take it. He even wondered if Xu Wanqing wanted to completely break off with him in order to gain Zhu Hairen's trust. It's you? Xu Wanqing said coldly, except for you, there is no one else here. Everyone present is either rich or noble, and you are the only one with a humble status. Do you need me to remind you of your own status? Zhu Hairen's eyes also flashed with surprise. What jewelry fell off? The necklace I bought before was worth 1 million. Xu Wanqing said coldly. Are you sure? I'm sure. Xu Wanqing nodded solemnly. Okay, leave this to me. Zhu Hairen sneered, Zhang Dong, although the young lady invited you to the banquet, you are embarrassing her by doing this. How about this, you take out the things yourself and admit your mistake. It's not that it's unforgivable. But if you are stubborn, I will send you to the police station even if the young lady scolds me. I will not allow anyone to damage the young lady's reputation. Zhang Dong took a deep breath and looked at Xu Wanqing. So, you are planning to kill me now, right? Xu Wanqing was stunned. When did she want to kill him? She looked indifferent, but was extremely anxious in her heart. You stole my things, don't say anything, just call the police, tell them what you want to say. As she spoke, she took out her cell phone and was about to make a call. Zhu Hairen grabbed her hand and shook his head, saying, it's not good to call the police for the eldest lady's celebration banquet. It won't sound good if it gets out either. Let my people have a good talk with him. Don't worry, even if he hits me, I will never do anything to him. After saying that, he added in his mind, I won't hit him, but I will definitely kill him. Xu Wanqing responded calmly, I don't want you to be scolded by the eldest lady. Chapter 22 Yarn Ying appears. Zhu Hairen looked at Xu Wanqing deeply, and said with a smile, if I can't even protect my own woman, then what kind of man am I? Even if the eldest lady knew, she would not blame me. After all, I believe that what the eldest lady values is a person's character. But when Zhang Dong heard it, his heart ached. Does she think that by doing this, Zhu Hairen will let bygones be bygones? No, he won't. Then why did she slander herself for taking things? Was it to give Zhu Hairen an excuse to take action? Zhang Dong's intuition told him that perhaps things were not as he thought. Although this is what appears on the surface now. Let's call the police and have them come and take him away. Xu Wanqing pulled her hand back and said stubbornly, you want to protect me, but don't I want to protect you? Just as she was about to dial 110, Zhu Hairen snatched her phone and whispered, you want to call the police to save him, right? Save him? I clearly want to punish him. Xu Wanqing said calmly. Keep pretending, you almost fooled me. Although Zhu Hairen was smiling, his cold tone made people shudder. You knew I wanted him dead, but you called the police to have him arrested. He is safest in the police station. Xu Wanqing suppressed the panic in her heart and said, I didn't think so much. Zhu Hairen stuffed the phone into her hand. Xu Wanqing took a look and found that the phone had been turned off. At this time, Zhu Hairen said again, Wanqing, I understand your feelings, but don't underestimate my determination to protect you. He spoke very loudly, afraid that others couldn't hear him. When he said this, he looked towards Zhang Dong on purpose, as if he was saying it on purpose for Zhang Dong to hear. Zhang Dong, even if I risk being scolded by the young lady today, I will take you down. He waved his hand, and a dozen burly bodyguards came from all directions. Everyone exclaimed and immediately stepped back, leaving a vacant spot in the center of the venue. Xu Jinxiong clenched his fists and gritted his teeth, don't let this bastard go. Wang Jing also said coldly, you are such a fool. Miss Yang admires you, but you don't know how to be grateful. Instead, you steal. Shame on you. Qin Xianglian looked indifferent. Whether Zhang Dong was dead or alive had nothing to do with her. Of course, if he died, it would calm Zhu Hairen's anger. Then, everything will be back on track. What do you want to do? Xu Wanqing whispered, are you really not afraid of causing trouble at the Yang family's celebration banquet? Zhu Hairen forcefully pulled her aside, showing no mercy, and even made a handprint on Xu Wanqing's fair wrist. Xu Wanqing, I'm warning you for the last time, don't test my bottom line. I said, if I want him dead, even the King of Heaven can't save him. You are already in a difficult situation, so you should take care of yourself first. I didn't protect him. I just didn't want you to be scolded by the eldest lady of the Yang family, which would affect our Xu family. Xu Wanqing's eyes were calm, besides, I have made my choice. Whether he lives or dies has nothing to do with me. Even if he doesn't leave, I will still cause trouble for him in the future. Also, don't threaten me anymore. Xu Wanqing, was not scared. If we work together, we both benefit. If we separate, we both lose. And I swear, as long as you do what I said before, I will definitely help you secure your position as the heir of the Zhu family. Zhu Hairan sneered, you want me to trust you? Fine. Kill Zhang Dong, and I'll trust you. A hint of annoyance flashed across Xu Wanqing's eyes. Seeing that Zhu Hairan's men surrounded Zhang Dong, if he was caught, Zhang Dong would surely die. Moreover, if the eldest daughter of the Yang family knew that Zhang Dong had stolen something, would she still protect his mother? She suddenly felt a little regretful for using this excuse to keep him. Instead, he was thrown into prison. At this critical moment, the whole place suddenly fell silent. Everyone's eyes turned to the same place. On the high platform, Angelababy, wearing a sparkling dress, was walking down the stairs step by step. The light shone on her, as if she was a fairy descending to earth. That beautiful face and noble temperament make men fall in love with her and make women feel ashamed of themselves. The creator's partiality is reflected in her to the fullest extent. For a moment, everyone forgot about the conflict that was about to happen. Zhu Hairan let go of Xu Wanqing, his breathing became heavy and his eyes became fanatical. In his heart, Angelababy is the perfect match. Xu Wanqing looked at the woman who was the center of everyone's attention. It would be a lie to say she wasn't envious, but more than that, she felt dissatisfied. Her background is not as good as Angelababy's, but in terms of appearance, knowledge and ability, she dares to say that she is definitely not worse than Angelababy. As long as she is given time, she may be able to bring the Xu family to a peak in the future. She will tell others that there is not only one Angelababy in Donghai, but also one Xu Wanqing. Angelababy's eyes swept through the crowd, her smile was elegant and graceful, giving people a feeling like a spring breeze. But when she saw Zhang Dong surrounded by bodyguards in the crowd, she couldn't help but frown. Just a slight frown made everyone's heart moved. What did the eldest lady of the Yang family see that made her frown? She walked over step by step, and the smile on her face disappeared. When he walked in front of Zhu Hairan put away the enthusiasm in his eyes and said respectfully, "Miss, the guests are all here." Yang Ying glanced at him and said, "Get out of the way." The cold words made Zhu Hairan stunned, and the powerful aura subconsciously made Zhu Hairan give up his seat. "And you, Xu Wanqing?" Xu Wanqing didn't understand why Angelababy suddenly changed her expression. "What are you standing there for? Get out of the way." Zhu Hairan pulled Xu Wanqing over and said with an apologetic smile, "Miss, she has never been to such an occasion before and was a little scared. I'm sorry to have embarrassed you." Angelababy glanced at Xu Wanqing coldly. The strong sense of oppression made Xu Wanqing instinctively resist. Everyone around was silent, not understanding why Angelababy suddenly got angry. Angelababy didn't say anything and walked towards the crowd. Everyone split up into different paths, and when they saw the end of the road, they were all stunned. That was where Zhang Dong was surrounded. She walked towards Zhang Dong step by step, and every step she took touched everyone's heart. The eldest lady must have known that Zhang Dong stole something, so she is unhappy. It's over, this kid is dead. He dared to do something dirty at the young lady's celebration party. He is looking for death. There was a look of amusement on everyone's face. And Xu Wanqing's face turned ugly. How could this happen? Zhu Hairan's eyes flickered and he sneered, "Now it seems that your rescue plan has failed." Chapter 23 Tit for Tat. Xu Wanqing secretly regretted in her heart that Yang Ying had to take action. Oh no, she didn't even need to take action. Just one word was enough to crush Zhang Dong. She clenched her fists, feeling extremely conflicted. If Angelababy really does it, what should she do? Should I help Zhang Dong and risk offending Angelababy, or should I pretend I didn't see it? Just when Xu Wanqing was wavering, Angelababy walked up to Zhang Dong. Everyone held their breath, waiting to see the show. "Who gave you the courage to surround my guests?" Angelababy glanced at the bodyguards. Her powerful aura made them breathe faster. Wow! Everyone was stunned. The eldest daughter of the Yang family not only did not scold Zhang Dong, but scolded the bodyguards instead. The Xu family was also dumbfounded. "Miss, Zhang Dong stole something." Wang Jing couldn't help but remind her. "Who gave you the guts to slander my guests?" The cold gaze swept across Wang Jing, almost making her heart stop. Xu Jinxiong was so frightened that he was shaking all over. He slapped Wang Jing fiercely. I told you not to talk too much. Wang Jing was stunned. She covered her face with her hands and her eyes were dull. Xu Jinxiong smiled and said, Miss, she is a woman from a small family and doesn't know the rules. Please don't be angry. Angelababy said nothing and turned to look at Xu Wanqing. Her woman's intuition told her that Angelababy looked at her with hostility and even anger. She didn't quite understand where the hostility came from. But she refused to give in. She raised her head stubbornly and looked at him. You said Zhang Dong stole your jewelry. So what you mean is that there is something wrong with my judgment of people. Under tremendous pressure, Xu Wanqing said, Miss, you misunderstood. I didn't mean that. What do you mean? Yang Ying walked over step by step. Zhang Dong helped me today. I am very grateful to him. I wanted to give him several million as a thank you gift, but he refused. How valuable are your jewelry? Is 10 million enough for you? As soon as he finished speaking, Chen Yue came hurriedly from the side with a check in her hand. Yang Ying stuffed the check into her hand and said, Take it, it's your wedding gift to Hairan. A huge feeling of humiliation came over me. She returned the check to Yang Ying. Miss, you may have misunderstood. I didn't say that Zhang Dong must have been the one who took my things. I just said that it's possible that he took it, or maybe I accidentally dropped it myself. Hairan, your fiancé is not that good. You are making groundless accusations without any evidence. The bad guy is innocent. She is indeed from a poor family. Angelababy has waited for so many years, searched for so many years, and expected so many years. But now Xu Wanqing has taken the lead. What made her most angry was that Xu Wanqing not only did not cherish him, but also humiliated Zhang Dong. If she had not promised Zhang Dong, a woman like Xu Wanqing could be made disappear by just raising her finger. Zhu Hairan stepped forward in a hurry. I'm sorry, miss. This is her first time attending a banquet of this level. Please forgive me. Forget it, for Hairan's sake, I won't bother with you. Yang Ying said calmly, you should be thankful. If it weren't for Hairan, you wouldn't be qualified to enter this place. The Xu family is not qualified to come to my celebration party. Xu Wanqing clenched her fists. This feeling was really uncomfortable. But she couldn't refute it. Because Angelababy is really a giant, if the Xu family offends her, it will be really finished. Zhu Hairan still cares about his own body, but Angelababy doesn't have anything worth asking for from her. What's wrong with the little security guard? You, Xu Wanqing, can come in, but the little security guard can't. Don't you have more hands and eyes than the little security guard? Everyone at the scene looked at Angelababy, then at Zhang Dong, wondering what kind of help Zhang Dong had done for the young lady. So much so that the eldest lady defended him so much. When Zhu Hairan looked at Zhang Dong, a hint of hidden murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He never thought that Zhang Dong would be favored by the eldest lady. What a deep scheme. He didn't want millions, but in return he attracted the young lady's interest. It seems that we can't attack him so directly. Zhang Dong must be made to disappear from this world in a reasonable way. Yang Ying also felt that the beating was enough, because there was a hint of anger in Zhang Dong's eyes. Although she was reluctant in her heart, she did not want to make Zhang Dong angry. Okay, let's continue the party, everyone enjoy your meal. Angelababy said this, and the atmosphere at the scene gradually recovered. Xu Wanqing felt suppressed and felt very uncomfortable, but when she thought that this was Angelababy's home court and she needed help from others, even if she bowed her head, it would only be temporary. It's nothing to bow your head for a moment, but it's terrible to bow your head for a lifetime. She looked at the people around her nodding and bowing to Angelababy and didn't find it funny. At this time, a voice came to my ears, since the engagement party didn't take place, but now all the celebrities in Donghai are here, let everyone be a witness. Now I want you to do something. What do you want to do? Sing me a love song and confess your love to me in public. Impossible, I can't sing. Xu Wanqing refused without thinking. Zhu Hairan squeezed his hand, showing no mercy. You know that now even the eldest lady of the Yang family is planning to support me. The Zhu family will only become more and more prosperous in the future. I only need to say a word, and the Xu family will be completely removed from the family. I don't even have to do anything. Even if outsiders say something, it can't be blamed on me, Zhu Hairan. I'm in a good mood now. Go up and sing a song to make me happy. Maybe I'll be lenient with you. Chapter 24. You asked me how much I love you. At the same time, Zhang Dong also breathed a sigh of relief. He knew that Yarn Ying just wanted to vent his anger for him and didn't want to embarrass him. At this moment, Xu Jinxiong came forward with a drink. Zhang Dong, want to talk? What is there for us to talk about? I didn't expect the young lady to admire you so much. I was too impulsive before. I'll toast you a glass. Also, if you are willing to come back, I will give you the position of security manager. I appreciate your kindness, but I am not qualified for this position because of my limited abilities. Zhang Dong, don't be so shameless. Huang Jing cursed in a low voice. Don't think that just because Miss Yarn said a few good words for you, you can be arrogant. With your personality, she is willing to protect you for a while, but can she protect you forever? Zhang Dong smiled and said, that's my business, what does it have to do with you? Don't be ungrateful. I have this temper. Is this the first time you know this? Zhang Dong glanced at Zhu Hairan, who was not far away. You guys clearly know that I have a feud with Zhu Hairan, but now you come over to show your friendship. What? Are you trying to please both sides? Xu Jinxiong was a little embarrassed when his secret was exposed. The young lady admires you so much, and judging from the situation, the Zhu family may become a subsidiary family of the Yarn family. Maybe one day you can also work for the young lady? By then, the grudges will definitely be resolved. Who will remember what happened in the past? He really wanted to resolve the conflict with Zhang Dong. However, Zhang Dong's personality still made him stay away from him. If the eldest daughter of the Yarn family knew that he liked to stir up trouble, she would definitely kick him away. Qin Xianglian also looked at Zhang Dong coldly. In her opinion, Zhang Dong was just a small person with a little luck. Although luck is important, strength and ability are more important. Those who can follow the eldest daughter of the Yarn family are all elites. Have you ever seen an elite who has been a security guard for 3 years? Even if he is an elite, he is just a security elite. Security companies have a lot of such people. At this moment, the music suddenly stopped and the spotlight shone on the stage. Everyone looked over. Then I saw Xu Wanqing standing there holding a microphone. Xu Wanqing is very beautiful. If her family background was better, she might be able to rival Angelababy. But what is she going to do up there now? In the eyes of everyone's doubts, Xu Wanqing said, I would like to use this evening's banquet to sing a song to my fiancé. The song is called Intimate Lover. I hope that our future can be long and happy forever. The music started and Xu Wanqing started singing despite herself. Below the stage, Zhu Hairan looked at Zhang Dong with a strong sense of revenge on his face. Especially when Zhang Dong had a cold face, he felt so happy. If you want to destroy a person, you must first make him crazy. Zhang Dong looked at Xu Wanqing above. Every word she sang was like pulling and cutting his heart with a blunt knife. Her voice came from behind, did you hear that? This time she is sincere. From the beginning to the end, she knows exactly what kind of life she wants and what kind of people are around her. So, you should give up. Even if Miss Yang is a little interested in you now, how long can that interest last? I advise you to leave Dong Hai before the eldest lady of the Yang family completely loses her interest in you. Give yourself some dignity and don't try to use the eldest lady of the Yang family's power to compete for anything. You can't win against it. You are a smart man, you should understand what I am talking about. Aunt Qin, do you really think she is happy? Zhang Dong pointed at Xu Wanqing above, is there a smile in her eyes? Is there any emotion in the song she sings? From beginning to end, has she ever looked at Zhu Hairan? You are her mother, and you should be the first person to protect her, right? Qin Xianglian was a little annoyed, that's all I have to say, you can do whatever you want. At this time, Xu Wanqing finished singing a song. Her eyes swept towards Zhang Dong, and she inexplicably wanted to avoid him. She suddenly felt very tired and exhausted. She is a very strong person and also a very self-loving person. But she has come to where she is now step by step. After the banquet is over, does she really want to go home with Zhu Hairan? You sang well. Zhu Hairan was very satisfied. Only obedient dogs get bones to chew. I'm wondering whether I should forgive you. It's not impossible, but I just said that as long as you kill Zhang Dong, I'll pretend nothing happened. The eldest lady of the Yang family admires him very much. If you touch him now, you will get yourself into trouble. Xu Wanqing said coldly. Trouble? Zhu Hairan sneered, if you want someone to disappear, there shouldn't be too many ways to do it. Natural disasters and man-made disasters, as long as you want, you can make him disappear reasonably. I won't commit a crime. Xu Wanqing said firmly. No, you are not committing a crime, you are atonement for the mistakes you have made. Zhu Haoren, don't go too far. I just went too far, what can you do to me? At this moment, a beautiful figure appeared on the stage again. Today is the birthday of a friend of mine. This friend is very important to me. Although I don't know if he is here, my intuition tells me that he has arrived at the scene. Yang Ying's words made everyone present stop and be shocked. I prepared a song for you. This song contains what I want to say. Everyone's curiosity was completely piqued. Judging from the eldest lady's tone, this friend seems to be a man. And the relationship is very close. The fire of gossip was burning in everyone's eyes. Zhu Haoren's eyes also turned cold. As the music started and the familiar prelude sounded, everyone was stunned for a moment, then took a deep breath. Sky. It's this song. This song is a classic love song. If a woman sings it, she will definitely not sing it, and friends of the opposite sex will not sing it either. So, the answer is obvious. He is the one the eldest lady likes. Maybe even a boyfriend. Impossible, this is impossible. Zhu Haoren's eyes were blazing with fire as he scanned the crowd. Who is it? Who is it? The young lady can sing in person. Everyone was very curious and looked around. But all I see are familiar faces. The identity of the person who asked the young lady to sing also became confusing. You ask, how deep is my love? How much I love you? The affectionate song sung by Angelababy makes people feel her deep and unbreakable love. From beginning to end, her eyes never left Zhang Dong. It's just that Xu Wanqing, this ungrateful woman, actually sang love songs in front of the uncle. His uncle must have what others have. The secret contest begins. The people around were fascinated by what they heard. And Xu Wanqing followed her gaze to find that person. Suddenly, a familiar figure came into view. Chapter 25 I Protect You. Zhang Dong. Why is it him? Xu Wanqing frowned. How could it be him? She looked behind Zhang Dong and saw her family. There is nothing more at the back. Could it be that her friend was hiding in the dark? But then she had a ridiculous idea. But she quickly dispelled the thought. Zhang Dong only looks a bit like her, not real. Maybe she is just thinking of him when she sees him. At this moment, Zhang Dong also felt her deep love. But unfortunately, there is no possibility between them. After the song was sung, the banquet came to an end. Zhu Haoren was screening the crowd for suspicious people like a madman. But he looked around and found nothing. Do you hear my voice? Holding the microphone, Angelababy expressed her love in a high-profile manner. Behind her, Chen Yai's scalp was numb. Miss, if this matter gets to Zhao Rulong's ears, I'm afraid. Yang Ying pulled the microphone away, her lips curled up slightly. So what? I just want him to know. When Chen Yai saw this, she knew that the eldest lady did it on purpose, and was even deliberately using this banquet to spread the matter. Will it be good for us to anger Zhao Rulong? I know what's going on. Angelababy said this and turned away. Everyone also began to speculate who Angelababy wanted to confess her love to. Could it be Zhu Haoren? There is some news circulating in the outside world that Zhu Haoren. But on second thought, I felt that it was not right. Zhu Haoren already has a fiancé. No matter what Angelababy does, it is impossible for her to like a married man. The crowd gradually dispersed, and the news spread as they left. Brother Dong, the young lady wants you to stay and rest. Chen Yai called Zhang Dong aside. Zhang Dong shook his head. I appreciate your kindness. The young lady asked me to ask you, is the song good? Zhang Dong hesitated for a moment, then nodded heavily. It sounds good. That's it. Chen Yai said, the young lady will be disappointed if you do this. Zhang Dong smiled bitterly. No more, I have something to do here, I'm leaving first. After saying this, he hurriedly left the manor. At the same time, in the parking lot outside the manor, luxury cars drove away one after another. Wanqing, I won't leave the door open for you at night. Xu Jinxiong smiled and said, Haoren, Wanqing is in your hands. Huang Jing also smiled and said, Wanqing, the Zhu family is not like our Xu family. You are used to being wild at home. You must know the etiquette in the Zhu family and you must not lose face for our Xu family. Xu Wanqing looked at her coldly. since auntie is afraid that I will bring shame to the Shu family, why don't you go to the Zhu family on my behalf? What did you say? Wang Jing was so angry that her nose was crooked. What would happen if she went to Zhu's house? Xu Jinxiong's face also turned cold. Xu Wanqing, she is my wife, your elder, do you have any family education? The old lady of the Xu family also frowned. Wanqing, don't be willful. Qin Xianglian sighed, took her hand and said, my daughter will eventually leave home when she grows up. Even though Xu Wanqing no longer had too many expectations for them, she still couldn't help feeling disappointed when she saw them urging her to get in the car. Zhu Hairan opened the car door. Okay, get in the car quickly. This is just the beginning. If nothing goes wrong, you will be in the Zhu family for the rest of your life. I told you I'm not feeling well today. Zhu Hairan sneered, I have medicine and doctors at home. If you feel uncomfortable, I'll have someone take a look at you. Listen, Hairan is so considerate. You will be the eldest granddaughter-in-law of the Zhu family in the future. It's time for you to control your willful temper. Wang Jing said. Hairan, then I'll leave my Wanqing to you. The old lady of the Shu family gave some instructions and got into the car. The car window was rolled down, and Qin Xianglian looked at Xu Wanqing with some concern, seeing that she was being held tightly by Zhu Hairan. At that moment, she felt a little regretful. Zhang Dong's words echoed in his ears. She is indeed unhappy. Even sad. She wanted to ask Xu Wanqing to get in the car. But Zhu Hairan has already proposed to her, and Xu Wanqing is already half a member of the Zhu family. As long as you stay at the Zhu family tonight, you are a real member of the Zhu family. I would rather she hate me for a while than regret it in the future. The car slowly drove out of the manor. Xu Wanqing's heart sank to the bottom. Do you want to get in the car yourself, or do you want me to invite you in? There were fewer and fewer people around, and Zhu Hairan gradually lost his patience. He sneered, why, are you still waiting for him to come out? Don't wait, he doesn't dare to come out, because he knows that if he comes out, he will definitely die. He will have a chance of survival if he stays in the Yang family, even if he hides in a corner and waits for us to leave. Xu Wanqing withdrew her gaze. Since there was no way to avoid it, she would face it calmly. You choose your own path, and you must finish it even if you have to kneel. Seeing Xu Wanqing take the initiative to get in the car, Zhu Hairan laughed. Yes, only obedient dogs get bones to eat. You are becoming more and more obedient. He wanted to train Xu Wanqing into an obedient dog. Compared to torturing her, conquering her was far more exciting. A strong sense of humiliation surged into her heart again, and Xu Wanqing put her hand on the door handle. What you up to? Zhu Hairan's face turned cold. I'm not a dog, I'm Xu Wanqing, I'm not your dog Zhu Hairan. Xu Wanqing came out of the car, and at that moment, she realized that if she really went, Zhu Hairan would not give her a chance to struggle. He will leave one mark after another on himself. The cigarette scar on her back had now planted a thorn in her heart. Once she gets used to it and adapts to it, she will no longer be the arrogant person she used to be. What the hell are you trying to do? Zhu Hairan pinched her face and pressed her against the car. This is not the Yang family. I can do whatever I want. Don't provoke me, because you can't afford the consequences. I want to go home. You are a member of the Zhu family now. Even if I let you go, do you think there is still a place for you in the Shu family? Forget it. They will clean you up, tie you up and send you to my house. Zhu Hairan's words hurt her heart. She shook her head violently, then pushed Zhu Hairan away. I have my own family. Today's engagement has not been completed, and before we are officially married, I am still a member of the Shu family. Officially get married? You think too much. Are you worthy of it? Zhu Hairan sneered. How could I marry a dog as my wife? Let go. Xu Wanqing said expressionlessly. Bang. Zhu Hairan suddenly slapped Xu Wanqing on the face. In an instant, her pretty face turned red and blood oozed from the corner of her mouth. I have several dogs at home. Do you know what I will do when they are disobedient? Without waiting for Xu Wanqing to speak, Zhu Hairan grinned and said, of course, I'll beat them until they obey. As he said this, he raised his hand high and was about to hit Xu Wanqing in the face. At this critical moment, a strong arm grabbed him tightly. Chapter 26 tonight, at your disposal. The sudden voice startled Zhu Hairan. Turning around, Zhu Hairan instantly flew into a rage. Zhang Dong. The person who came was Zhang Dong. She doesn't want to go, didn't you hear? After saying that, Zhang Dong suddenly exerted force, and Zhu Haren's face changed drastically. Zhang Dong, you have already left the celebration banquet, and without the protection of the eldest lady. Who are you? Let go quickly, otherwise, I will make you pay. A scream came out of Zhu Haren's mouth. Zhang Dong's eyes were as fast as lightning, and he chopped Zhu Haren's neck with a knife. In an instant, Zhu Haren lost his voice. It felt like someone was grabbing my throat. He pulled hard and Zhu Haren fell to the ground. He knelt on the ground, one hand covering his throat, his face twisted in pain. Even breathing became difficult. Zhang Dong didn't want to kill anyone, otherwise, with this knife, his throat would be broken and he would suffocate to death. Follow me. Zhang Dong grabbed Xu Wanqing's hand forcefully and domineeringly. Where are you taking me? Xu Wanqing came back to her senses and continued to struggle. Zhang Dong, what do you want to do? Let me go. What did you do to my fiancé? Fiancé? Do you really want to marry him? Zhang Dong frowned. Don't lie to me, I know exactly what you are thinking. You don't like him, you even dislike him, and you also know Zhu Haren's true face. This has nothing to do with you. I'm warning you for the last time. This is a matter between me and my fiancé. If you dare to get involved, I, Xu Wanqing, will be the first one to not forgive you. Yeah. Zhang Dong let go of her hand and couldn't help laughing. You were trying to protect me just now, right? Xu Wanqing's eyes flashed with panic, but she quickly regained her composure. What are you talking about? I don't understand. You said I stole your things, but you were actually trying to protect me because Zhu Haren had already sent people to lay a net, and as long as I go out, they will definitely swarm in. The reason you want to call the police is that you want the police to protect me. Zhang Dong pressed on, is that so? Xu Wanqing had nowhere to retreat, so she leaned against a car and took a deep breath. So what? I am a soft-hearted person. Even if a cat or a dog died, I would be sad. Besides, you have been guarding the company for 3 years, so this is a reward for your hard work for the company. Yeah. Zhang Dong smiled and did not ask any further questions. Just now, he walked out of Yan's house and ran into a group of people. It was at that moment that he suddenly understood Xu Wanqing's intention. If Xu Wanqing really wanted to punish herself, there was no need to call the police. She could just hand herself over to Zhu Haren. Okay, no matter what your reason is, you helped me, and I don't like owing others, so I'll take you home. Xu Wanqing pushed Zhang Dong away and said angrily, you need to understand your identity. You are not a member of the Shu group and you have nothing to do with me. Do I need you to send me back? Besides, I need you to save me. It's normal for me to have conflicts with my fiancé, right? Zhang Dong, you should save yourself some energy and stop doing things that move you too much. I admit that you are a little different from other men. But reality is reality, I don't like you, and my family doesn't like you either. Yes, you did take away my most precious thing, but so what? In this era, having sex doesn't mean you can be together for life. Even if you get married and have children, many people get divorced. This is my last warning to you. Don't show up in front of me again. If you marry me, I, Zhang Dong, swear on my own character that I will never divorce you, and I will never betray you. Oh. Xu Wanqing showed a hint of sarcasm, how much is your personality worth? As she said this, she was about to leave, but Zhang Dong held her tightly and said, whether you like me or hate me, I will protect you until this matter is successfully resolved. This matter is over. Miss Yan has made it clear enough that she will not pursue the Shu family's responsibility anymore. I can handle the rest myself. Xu Wanqing slapped Zhang Dong's hand away. Don't do such reckless things anymore, you will only embarrass me and make it difficult for me to do my job. Having said that, she was about to leave. The next second, her body suddenly flew into the air. Zhang Dong picked her up like a princess and said, go home. Zhang Dong, let me go. Xu Wanqing kept slapping and biting Zhang Dong, leaving bite marks on his body one after another. But Zhang Dong didn't say anything, and didn't even frown. Xu Wanqing licked the blood from her lips. The taste is very fishy. She couldn't help but look at Zhang Dong's profile. Put me down, are you going to carry me back? Zhang Dong stopped and hailed a taxi. He got in without saying anything and held Xu Wanqing in his arms. Master, let's go to the nearest one-star hotel. Home in. He booked a suite in a one-star hotel today and his money is almost spent. But it's still okay to open a homestay. The taxi driver took a look through the rearview mirror and cursed in his heart, damn, it's okay for an old cow to eat young grass, but she is so fucking beautiful. What on earth does this woman want? She can't even afford to stay in an Star World hotel, but she wants to stay in Home Inn. Is it because she likes him because he is old? Xu Wanqing's eyes were about to spit fire, and she lowered her voice, didn't you say you would take me home? Send you home, your parents will definitely send you to the Zhu family again. Zhang Dong said, the best way is to go to their hotel. I will stay with you until this is over. Zhang Dong, who allowed you to make the decision for me? Who gave you permission to save me? Zhang Dong retorted. Do you believe me and I'll call the police? Report it. If you don't want to save face, I don't mind. Why didn't I see before that you were so shameless? Zhang Dong smiled and looked at Xu Wanqing's deflated look. He actually thought she was a little cute. Soon, the taxi stopped. Zhang Dong took out his 18-year-old smartphone with a broken screen and paid the fare under the driver's contemptuous and envious gaze. Put me down. Xu Wanqing said coldly. Zhang Dong thought about it and put her down. I thought Xu Wanqing would leave, but she walked into a 3-star hotel next to Home Inn. Zhang Dong was stunned. Then he quickly followed in. Arriving at the hotel front desk, Xu Wanqing said, use your ID card to get a room. Zhang Dong felt a little embarrassed. He glanced at the room rate table behind the front desk. Even the cheapest suite would cost him a month's salary. He couldn't get it out at all. Hurry up. Xu Wanqing urged, her eyes full of mockery and contempt. She lowered her voice and said, Zhang Dong, I'll give you a chance. As long as you can afford to rent a presidential suite, I'll let you do whatever you want tonight. Chapter 27, Beauty on Earth. Xu Wanqing is indeed a beauty. Zhang Dong took a look at the price of the presidential suite, which would cost him about half a year's salary. He couldn't get it out. This is more than I can pay. Zhang Dong said frankly, besides, if I really want to do that, the chances will be better during the day. Xu Wanqing knew what opportunity he was talking about. She sneered, look, you can't even afford a room, what can you give to others in the future? As she spoke, she took out a gold card and said, swipe it. The receptionist respectfully took the gold card, swiped it, and asked Xu Wanqing to enter the password. After fiddling with it for a while, the sound of the machine printing tickets did not appear. Instead, it said, this card has been frozen, insufficient balance. The receptionist handed the card back to Xu Wanqing, sorry miss, please change the card to pay. I use this card every day, how could it be frozen? After saying that, Xu Wanqing came back to her senses, it's Zhu Haoren. She took her phone out of her bag and saw the message sent in the family group. Xu Wanqing, are you going to piss your grandma off to death before you give up? Xu Jinxiong cursed in the group, why don't you just go home with Haoren? You've fallen into depravity and left with that stupid security guard. You've brought shame to the Xu family. Huang Jing followed up with sarcasm, how could the Xu family produce such a cheap bitch like you? You took the family's money and eloped with a security guard. You can do such a stupid thing. I'll freeze your card and see how that security guard can support your life. He can't even support himself, how can he support you? If you have the guts, don't come back. I wonder how long you can hold out. Xu Chao, sister, come home, I'll take you to Haoren now. Her mother also sent her a voice message. When she opened it, she heard Qin Xianglian crying, Wanqing, come home. Do you really want to kill me? After hearing their voice, Xu Wanqing felt extremely tired. Why do you force her? Why? After turning off the phone and taking back the gold card, Xu Wanqing walked out of the hotel and said, all my money has been frozen, and now I am a pauper. Even if I really give you a chance, with your ability, it will be a problem to support yourself, let alone support me. Send me home, then you go your way and I go mine. This fast should come to an end. I don't have money now, but that doesn't mean I won't have money in the future. Zhang Dong said seriously, give me some time. I can't say I'll make you rich, but I can definitely make sure you have enough food and clothing. You think what I want is to have enough food and clothing? Xu Wanqing sneered, it's impossible for an ordinary person like you to understand. We are not from the same class. I yearn for a life of being a leader. Even a man like me, Xu Wanqing, must be upright. Peace is a blessing, prosperity is a blessing, power is limitless, we are all mortals, and will eventually turn into a handful of yellow earth. You see, this is the gap between us. We can never be on the same channel. Xu Wanqing took a deep breath and said, I'll give you two choices. Either you send me back now, or I'll call Zhu Hairan and ask him to pick me up. Zhang Dong looked at her and was silent for a while. Go back tomorrow. Have a good rest tonight. You will have enough energy to deal with it. Xu Wanqing said nothing, turned around and walked towards the street. Zhang Dong chased after her, and Xu Wanqing warned him, if you dare to touch me, I will scream for help. You can try. Zhang Dong followed closely. Why do you have to force yourself? The Xu family's affairs are Xu Chao's fault. It has nothing to do with you. This marriage has been a farce from the beginning. Why don't you give yourself a chance to start over? Do you have to push yourself into a dead end? Does this make you appear particularly noble by sacrificing yourself for your family? Don't be silly, you know their faces better than me. From beginning to end, you are the only one who has been making efforts, while they are enjoying the fruits of your efforts. You are a smart woman, I believe you should see it more clearly than I do. Do you want to do this kind of business that will make you lose money? Zhang Dong's words opened a hole in Xu Wanqing's heart. He was right. From the beginning to the end, she was the only one who was sacrificing and moving herself. She was originally full of confidence, but now she is timid and afraid of everything. He even let Zhu Hairan leave a humiliating scar on his back. Even if this scar is removed one day in the future, what about the scar in her heart? She pursed her lips, said nothing, and quickened her pace. The pain in her ankle made her wavering heart firm. No matter how much you say, it's useless. You said all these things just to make me go to home and with you and get a room. Do you think I don't know what you are thinking? Zhang Dong, you are really hypocritical. When I gave it to you, you didn't want it. Now I don't want to give it to you anymore. You are so hypocritical here. It's really disgusting. Xu Wanqing's words made Zhang Dong a little angry. He took 2 or 3 steps forward, hugged her in his arms again, and said domineeringly, if you dare to shout for help, I will kiss you. You can try it, even if I am regarded as a hooligan and arrested by the police, I will accept it. But tomorrow, the headline of Donghai News will definitely be, the news that the daughter of the Xu family was forcibly kissed. All your efforts will vanish into thin air. Xu Wanqing's eyes were about to spit fire. She was not brought up to be scared. Help, Before she could finish her words, Zhang Dong's big mouth covered hers the next second. Their voice stopped abruptly. Xu Wanqing's heart was moved. She couldn't help but open her eyes wide. This bastard actually kissed her. She opened her mouth and bit it. The soft and tender lips were bitten in an instant. The blood, saliva, and breath of both people mixed together. The smell made Xu Wanqing feel dizzy. She even wondered if she had bitten her aorta, which was why there was so much blood. Doesn't it hurt him? There was too much bleeding, which made Xu Wanqing feel a little nauseous. He was even forced to swallow some blood. She quickly opened her mouth, turned her head, and continued to spit out the blood and water mixture in her mouth. When the rust taste in her mouth subsided, she looked at Zhang Dong and found that his lower lip had swollen. A deep gap is clearly visible. And at this moment, blood was oozing out of that gap continuously. Zhang Dong, I hate men who force women the most in my life. What's the difference between you and Zhu Hairan? Xu Wanqing gritted her teeth and said, at least Zhu Hairan has power and influence, and you have nothing. To put it bluntly, you are just a despicable gangster who uses the advantage of your gender to oppress women. If you don't want me to look down on you, let me go. Zhang Dong smiled and said, if I let you go, will you respect me? Chapter 28 Cigarette Scar. He walked towards Rujia step by step, holding Xu Wanqing in his arms. I walked to the front desk, slapped my ID card on the front desk, and glanced at the room price list on the wall. Give me a business room. Sir, the business room has 2 beds. If there are 2 of you, you can just take the deluxe single room. The front desk mistook them for a couple. No, a business room will do. After paying the fee, Zhang Dong carried Xu Wanqing into the elevator. At this moment, Xu Wanqing had just revealed her face from Zhang Dong's arms. She looked at Zhang Dong. Compared to Zhu Hairan, I hate you more. Do you men like to persuade prostitutes to become good women and drag good people into sex? Whether you hate me or love me, you saved me once and I saved you once. I know you don't like me, or even hate me, but that doesn't matter. Zhang Dong said, as long as you are safe, it's fine. Now I don't expect you to give me a chance. You are right. We are from 2 different worlds. Forcing a merger will only lead to bitter wine. As long as you understand. Xu Wanqing said coldly. I entered the room by pressing the room card and opened the door. Everything inside could not compare with a star hotel. However, although the Sparrow is small, it has all the organs. Zhang Dong put her down and said, go wash up, but don't take a shower. Just wet a towel and wipe yourself to prevent secondary infection. I'll go downstairs to buy some medicine and apply it on you before bed. It will heal completely in a few days. And you don't have a scar-prone constitution, so it won't leave any scars. Having said that, Zhang Dong left the room. Xu Wanqing felt a little embarrassed and annoyed, and also spoke in a cold tone. Isn't he afraid of leaving? Also, who wants him to take medicine? She clenched her fists and wanted to open the door and leave, but for some reason, she walked into the bathroom and turned on the shower. Let the cold water wash over your body. Cold water can relieve pain, but it can't relieve the pain from cigarette scars. She didn't leave the bathroom until she was trembling all over. After a while, Zhang Dong came back with not only medicine but also a bowl of fried rice. You probably didn't eat dinner tonight. Fill your stomach and rest for 10 minutes after you're full. I'll apply medicine to you. Zhang Dong put out the cigarette in his hand. Then he sat aside and took out the fried rice and started to gobble it up. Xu Wanqing looked at him coldly. Do you think I would eat this kind of civilian food? Although the ingredients are not as high-end as those in Western cuisine, I can guarantee that the taste is definitely no worse than that of a 5-star hotel. Xu Wanqing didn't move. But my stomach started to growl. Eat something. I've bought everything. People are made of iron and rice is made of steel. It takes strength to hate someone. Only when you're full will you have the strength to hate me, right? Childish provocation. Xu Wanqing said coldly. Zhang Dong didn't say anything. He quickly cleaned up the egg fried rice and sighed contentedly. I still like this kind of food that is full of the flavor of life more. He sighed, then picked up the egg fried rice and walked to Xu Wanqing. Either you eat it yourself, or I'll feed you. I don't want it. Xu Wanqing turned her head away. Then I'll feed you. I said, no means no. Xu Wanqing said angrily. Zhang Dong was quick to put the spoon into her mouth. Xu Wanqing was caught off guard and got a mouthful of food. She was about to get angry, but she found that this egg fried rice was surprisingly delicious. Chew subconsciously and then swallow. Just after finishing eating, Zhang Dong brought the spoon to his mouth again. A pair of beautiful eyes stared at Zhang Dong, and in less than 10 minutes, a full box of fried rice was finished. After feeding, Zhang Dong sat by the window, staring at the flashing neon lights below. Xu Wanqing said, let's talk. Zhang Dong, I am very grateful for everything you have done for me, but I really don't want to get entangled in meaningless things. You don't want money or people, but you keep pestering me just for a promise. If that's the case, I really don't want it. You know very well that it is impossible for me to turn against my family for you, and it is even more impossible for me to elope with you. You may say that I am materialistic or not, but people still need to be down to earth. Although I don't despise security guards, you should at least be able to support yourself before you talk about supporting others. Give me 2 months and I'll prove it to you. Zhang Dong looked at her seriously and said, if I can't do it within 2 months, it's because I, Zhang Dong, am incompetent, and I will definitely not pester you. Why should I give you 2 months? Want to bet? What a childish bet. Xu Wanqing said, this kind of bet has no binding force at all. It's even a little ridiculous because you can't win the bet and I'm the only loser. No, it's a win-win situation, believe me, said Zhang Dong. Are you trustworthy? Xu Wanqing sneered, you should think about how to survive. The atmosphere became awkward again. After a long silence, Zhang Dong said, I'll apply medicine for you. No, I'll do it myself. You have hands behind your back. Zhang Dong glanced at her and said, you just poured cold water on it. If you don't disinfect it carefully, secondary infection will be troublesome. Don't worry, I will never do anything to you. Although I am not a gentleman, I am not a villain who takes advantage of others' misfortune. Xu Wanqing hesitated for a moment, gritted her teeth, and lay down on the bed. Being shy makes people feel like there is something wrong. Zhang Dong took a deep breath and said, please move your bathrobe down. Xu Wanqing sneered, I didn't see you being so honest last night. Hearing this, Zhang Dong didn't waste any time and got straight to work. Soon, the white jade back came into view. But the beauty is ruined by those whip marks. The bathrobe was pulled only to the waist. The soft mattress directly sank Xu Wanqing's body. The liquid went into Zhang Dong's nasal cavity, and his mouth felt dry. After swallowing subconsciously, he began to disinfect Xu Wanqing. But immediately afterwards, a scar that did not belong to this jade caught Zhang Dong's eyes. That's a cigarette scar. He was very sure that there was no cigarette scar when he applied medicine to Xu Wanqing during the day. His eyes turned cold. Who gave this scar? Xu Wanqing buried her face in the quilt. The cigarette scar on her back was the scar in her heart, which was now exposed in front of Zhang Dong. It made her feel like she was being seen. Zhu Haoran's hot one. There was murderous intent in Zhang Dong's eyes. Xu Wanqing clutched the quilt, tears falling silently, wetting the sheets and quilt. This is the greatest humiliation in her life. It is a spiritual scar that will follow her for the rest of her life. Zhang Dong gently stroked the cigarette scar. I will help you remove this scar, and I will also help you heal the scar in your heart. I swear, if it can't be healed, then I will destroy the person who left the scar on you. He lowered his head and kissed the scar. The warm lips made Xu Wanqing tremble all over. In an instant, tears burst out. Chapter 29 Killer. The cigarette but flickered. In the dim room, Xu Wanqing had fallen asleep. Zhang Dong leaned against the window, smoking silently. That scar made Zhang Dong want to kill. In fact, the best way to destroy a person is not to torture his body, but to destroy his spirit. Zhu Haoran is a man of character who can bend and stretch himself. He can endure anything until his goal is achieved. After putting out the cigarette, Zhang Dong lay down on the other bed with his clothes on. Soon, the sound of even breathing could be heard. And in the darkness, a pair of bright eyes opened. Xu Wanqing's eyes were extremely complicated. To be honest, she couldn't quite understand a man like Zhang Dong. Although he is of humble status, he is extremely bold. Never bow down in the face of pressure. Instead, she had many concerns and was restricted in her actions. She couldn't help but think of the kiss Zhang Dong gave her on her scar, and her heart couldn't calm down for a long time. With so many thoughts in her mind, she felt a little tired and fell asleep unknowingly. The next day, Xu Wanqing woke up. I found Zhang Dong standing by the window smoking. Sensing the movement behind him, Zhang Dong turned around and said, "Awake, what are your plans for today?" After a night's rest, Xu Wanqing regained her senses and became more energetic. She knew very well that temporary escape would not solve the problem. Face the talent. Send me to the company, and then you leave. Xu Wanqing said very calmly, "Don't say any more nonsense. I have already said everything I should say very clearly yesterday. I have my life, and you have your life too. Two parallel lines will never intersect." Zhang Dong said, "You have your ideas, I have mine. Since it's hard for us to convince each other, let's keep it as it is." Xu Wanqing said angrily, "You are really a scoundrel and shameless." Zhang Dong exhaled a puff of smoke. "You don't like to owe me, and I don't like to owe you either. So you want to pay off your debt." Xu Wanqing crossed her arms. "Forget it." Zhang Dong didn't say anything and the atmosphere was a little awkward. Xu Wanqing got out of bed with a sullen face and went into the bathroom to wash up. Just then, there was a knock on the door. She wanted to call Zhang Dong, but then she changed her mind and felt it was inappropriate. She walked to the door and asked, "Who?" "Breakfast in the room." A woman's voice came from outside the door. She was about to open the door when Zhang Dong growled, "Don't open the door." Xu Wanqing frowned and ignored him completely. He opened the locked door, and the next second, the door was suddenly pushed open from the outside. The tip of the knife, flashing with a cold light, stabbed straight at Xu Wanqing. At that moment, Xu Wanqing saw clearly who was coming. It was a woman wearing a mask. Her eyes were cold and without a trace of emotion. "She's not a guest room at all." Xu Wanqing felt a trace of regret in her heart, and saw the tip of the knife was about to pierce her heart. At the critical moment, a strong hand grabbed her waist, pulled her hard, and her body retreated. The tip of the knife scraped past her bathrobe. Zhang Dong looked at the person coming and kicked him. Bang! The woman flew into the air and slammed heavily against the corridor wall. The wall paint is falling off rapidly. The woman spat out a mouthful of blood, covered her stomach, and ran away while enduring the pain. Everything happened in a flash. Xu Wanqing's back was already soaked with cold sweat. Zhang Dong closed the door and said, "Hurry up and wash up." We can't stay here any longer. Xu Wanqing came back to her senses. That woman just now, was she a killer? Zhang Dong hesitated for a while, then nodded heavily, yes. Zhu Hairan called me. Xu Wanqing felt cold all over. If Zhang Dong hadn't saved her, she might have fallen in a pool of blood. Thanks. I said, I will protect you. Zhang Dong said. Xu Wanqing didn't say anything and quickly washed and dressed. To be honest, she was still immersed in what had just happened. She never thought that Zhu Hairan would be so cruel as to send people to hunt her down. After leaving the hotel, Zhang Dong took a taxi to take Xu Wanqing to Xu Group. I'll go upstairs and give you the money for last night's hotel room, supper, clothes, and taxi fare. Xu Wanqing said this and returned to her condescending attitude. Zhang Dong followed behind him and walked into Xu Group. As soon as they got out of the elevator, Xu Jinxiong and his men blocked their way. With a dark face, he asked, "Where did you two go last night?" Xu Wanqing sneered and said, "Need I say that? He came with me, so of course is going to get a room." Xu Jinxiong was furious. "You have a fiancé, how dare you say this out loud? As your uncle, I feel ashamed for you. Xu Wanqing, I am warning you for the last time. Don't forget your identity. You are driving the Xu family to death. It's you who pushed the Xu family to death, it's you, not me." Xu Wanqing said, "Uncle, how can you feel at ease and justify your argument by blaming a woman like me for the rise and fall of our family? When you say this, doesn't your conscience hurt? You?" Xu Jinxiong gnashed his teeth in anger, his whole body trembling. "You uneducated thing, today I will discipline you on behalf of Jianhong." As he said that, he raised his hand and hit Xu Wanqing in the face. Zhang Dong attacked brazenly and grabbed his hand. "Boss Xu, hitting a woman is not what an elder should do." Xu Jinxiong felt pain in his right hand, and was furious. However, Zhang Dong made him cautious. "Zhang Dong, don't think that you can show off in the Xu family just because Miss Yan stood up for you yesterday. You are no longer a member of the Xu group. Get out of here right now. Better not to embarrass yourself, otherwise. I am directly in charge of the security department. I did not approve Zhang Dong's resignation, so he is still a member of Xu group." Xu Wanqing said domineeringly. "No, you are no longer the vice president of Xu group." Xu Jinxiong sneered, "Your grandmother gave an order yesterday. Unless you go to the Zhu family and apologize to Zhu Hairan, you will be kicked out of the Xu group. Aren't you tough? Don't you like the thrill of messing around with a lowly security guard? Then don't rely on your family, live on your own ability. I want to see what you are like without your family. The family has just escaped from the coercion of the Yang family, and you can't wait to kick me out and share power." Xu Wanqing saw through Xu Jinxiong's thoughts at a glance. This matter is not over yet. As long as I don't go to find Zhu Hairan, the Xu family will not be out of danger. Without me, the Xu family can't withstand Zhu Hairan's suppression. Xu Wanqing, don't take yourself too seriously. The world will continue to function even without anyone. Xu Jinxiong snorted coldly and shook off Zhang Dong's hand, but without the protection of the Zhu family, you, Xu Wanqing, are nothing. Also, there is one thing I forgot to tell you. I have already discussed with Zhu Hairan and will marry your sister to him. Chapter 30. Uncle, you want to kill me? Xu Wanqing's face changed. What did you say? You can't do this. How could my mother agree to it? Xu Wanqing has a younger sister who is a freshman in college. Her name is Xu Wanru. She has a gentle personality and is very obedient, but she usually lives on campus and seldom comes home. Sister pays sister's debt. Xu Jinxiong sneered, at least Wanru won't be as shameless as you. Zhu Hairan also agreed. Of course, if you don't want Wanru to replace you, you'd better go to Zhu's house to find him. You have no choice. Xu Wanqing's beautiful eyes were full of anger. In order to make me surrender, you even spared my sister. What kind of elder are you? You never treated me as your elder, so why should I treat you as my junior? Xu Jinxiong said coldly, I have said everything I need to say. The choice is yours. After saying that, he turned and left. Xu Wanqing turned back to the office to get her car keys, only to find that all her car keys had been taken away. Xu Jinxiong was ruthless. She gritted her teeth and took out a card from the secret compartment of the drawer. The card was not named after her, but Xu Wanru. She would save money into it every year, and had originally planned to give it to Xu Wanru as funds for a world tour after she graduated from college. But now, I can only use it first. I withdrew some money from an ATM near the company and hurriedly took a taxi away. Zhang Dong also got in the car. Xu Wanqing asked coldly, "Who asked you to get in?" "Myself." Zhang Dong replied. "I want to go home, please get off the car." Xu Wanqing said, "Please don't cause me any more trouble, okay? If you hadn't forcibly taken me away last night, so many things wouldn't have happened." Zhang Dong said in a deep voice, "Now is not the time to blame, the most urgent task is to solve this matter first." "Are you going or not?" the driver asked impatiently. He just thought they were a couple having a quarrel. Xu Wanqing looked at Zhang Dong coldly and said to the driver, "Let's go." She looked out the window. Step by step, things had become increasingly complicated and had deviated from the originally planned track. And Xu Wanru was involved. Soon, their car stopped in front of the Xu family villa. Xu Wanqing got out of the car, glanced at Zhang Dong who was following closely behind her, and sneered, "You shouldn't be a security guard, you should be a follower. I'm a bug, you can't be a fart, right?" Zhang Dong was also a little annoyed and retorted without hesitation. Xu Wanqing was shocked and stepped heavily on Zhang Dong's foot, causing him to grimace in pain. He vented all his anger on Zhang Dong. "Fuck Xu Wanqing, you are so ungrateful. I have this kind of weird personality. If you follow me, you have to be mentally prepared." Xu Wanqing sneered, "There have been countless men chasing after me over the years, but no one has ever approached me. Why do you think that is? If you can't stand it, leave as soon as possible and don't be an eyesore." After saying that, he walked into the Xu family. Zhang Dong stamped his feet to relieve the pain and followed. As soon as she entered the room, she saw the old lady of the Xu family sitting in the main seat with a cane in her hand, and Xu Chao standing behind her, massaging her shoulders. Wang Jing drank tea, took out the furniture from the main room, and kept criticizing Qin Xianglian. When his wife was scolded, Xu Jianhong had a bitter face and didn't dare to say a word. Seeing Xu Wanqing, Wang Jing pretended not to see it, but raised her voice, and the words of reprimand became more sarcastic. "Qin Xianglian, your eldest daughter is shameless and has brought shame to the Xu family. Your youngest daughter can only make up for this mistake. Tomorrow, at the weekend, I will send someone to pick up Wanru. It's time to send her directly to the Zhu family. If you dare to touch my sister, I will fight you to the death." Xu Wanqing couldn't bear it any longer. Not only did he harm her, but he also wanted to harm her sister. Are both sisters going to fall into the hands of their uncle's family? She strode forward, now she was forced into a corner with no way to retreat. She knows better than anyone else what kind of person Zhu Hairan is. She didn't dare to think about what would happen to Xu Wanru if she went over there. "Xu Wanqing, shut up. You have been kicked out of the Xu family now. You have no right to speak here." Xu Chao cursed, "Take your little security guard and get out of the Xu family. Since you don't care about the Xu family, then don't set foot in the Xu family." Wang Jing sneered again and again, "Xu Wanqing, without the Xu family, what are you? You are not qualified to threaten me. I was able to make you bow your head back then, and now, I can make your sister bow her head. Aunt, I have been trying hard to respect you, but what you are doing now is not what an elder should do. You have ruined me and you want to ruin my sister. Is your heart made of stone?" Xu Wanqing looked at her mother and said, "Mom, you didn't stand firmly by my side at the beginning. Do you want Wanru to make the same mistake again?" Qin Xianglian's eyes were red. "Did I ask you to betray your fiancé and hang out with a little security guard? Did I make this happen? I thought you could understand my good intentions, but how did you treat me in the end? I am your mother, but now you ignore me for the sake of a lowly security guard. What else do you want from me? You only care about your own happiness and never think about others. How selfish are you? Is your heart made of stone?" Xu Wanqing felt very wronged by her mother's misunderstanding and blaming tone. She suffered so much injustice and humiliation yesterday, and even almost lost her life this morning. So whether you are happy or not, or whether you are alive or not, doesn't matter, right? Zhang Dong couldn't listen any longer. He said in a deep voice, "Aunt Qin, I don't agree with you. Zhu Hairan has never respected Wanqing, let alone treated her as his fiancée. A marriage that is forced together will only produce abnormal results. You are Wanqing's mother. I think no matter what, you should stand firmly on your daughter's side. After all, you gave birth to her, raised her and educated her. Only you know best what kind of person she is. I know I am a nobody and I have no right to point fingers or make irresponsible comments here. I just want to say that even though you don't understand now, it is better than her losing her life in the future. According to what you said, I am selling my daughter for fame and fortune, right? Qin Xianglian was shaking with anger. Zhang Dong, you, a grown man, are obsessed with my daughter and have harmed our family like this. Now you want to come here to sow discord. What on earth do you want to do? Will you be happy if I die in front of you? Well, since you want to kill me so badly, I will help you do it. She looked at Xu Wanqing in despair. I didn't teach you well in this life. If there is a next life, I will definitely not be your mother again. As she said this, she rushed towards the pillar next to her. Chapter 31, Broken Relationship. The sudden change left Xu Wanqing at a loss. Xu Jianhong stood there in a daze, as if he had already seen the scene of his wife with a bloody head. Seeing that Qin Xianglian was about to hit the pillar, Zhang Dong moved. He rushed over quickly and grabbed her. Aunt Qin, death can't solve the problem. Qin Xianglian said angrily, let me go, I don't need your hypocrisy, it's disgusting to watch. If you really don't want me to die, leave my daughter and never appear in front of me again. Wanqing must have listened to you in the past, right? Zhang Dong sighed. Aunt Qin, why haven't you thought about why she became like this? If Zhu Haoran is really a good man and a good match, I don't think she is stupid and would not have too much interaction with a security guard like me. Have you ever thought about this? If one day, she was having a hard time and met a sister-in-law who oppressed her every day in the Zhu family, do you think she would be happy? Wang Jing sneered, you stinky security guard, who are you going to order? Zhang Dong ignored her and continued, if the Xu family is like this, what about the Zhu family? Wanqing, show Aunt Qin the wound on your back. Xu Wanqing trembled all over, her eyes full of resistance. Zhang Dong said, I believe Aunt Qin is on your side, but she doesn't know the truth and was deceived by the perfect persona created by Zhu Haoran. Are you injured? Qin Xianglian looked at Xu Wanqing. Xu Wanqing was silent for a while. Zhang Dong was right. Only by letting her see Zhu Haoran's true face could Xu Wanru be prevented from making the same mistake again. She turned around and Zhang Dong stepped forward immediately. I'll do it. He pinched the zipper and gently pulled it open. The scars on his back were shocking, and the skin was torn where he had been beaten. Qin Xianglian was stunned. Xu Jianhong, who usually kept silent, also became anxious. Who hit me? Zhu Haoran. I didn't ask you, Wanqing, tell me, who hit you? Xu Jianhong asked anxiously. Zhu Haoran. Xu Wanqing let out a long sigh. This was really a very embarrassing thing for her. Qin Xianglian walked forward, tears already in her eyes. She stretched out her hand to touch the scar. Does it hurt? This question almost made Xu Wanqing cry. Much better. Why did he hit you? Qin Xianglian asked. Without waiting for Xu Wanqing to speak, Wang Jing sneered, do you even need to ask? It's because she's fickle and unfaithful to her husband. If I were to say, you beat her well. Which man can tolerate a woman cheating on him? If this happened in ancient times, she would have been thrown into a pig cage. Sister-in-law, you're going too far. Xu Jinhong's face turned red. Over the years, he had always been the one being scolded, but now, seeing Xu Wanqing being beaten like this, he couldn't bear it anymore. Xu Jianhong, how dare you be mean to me? Wang Jing could hardly believe her ears. Mom, did you see that? The old lady of the Xu family never liked her timid second son. She paused with her cane and said coldly, Jianhong, your sister-in-law is right. Although my Xu family is not a wealthy family, it is also a family of scholars. Wanqing did something wrong, so she deserves to be beaten. As Wanqing's father, you are at fault for not educating your daughter well. Apologize to your sister-in-law immediately. Xu Jianhong was very afraid of his mother, and when he heard her words, he subconsciously lowered his head. Mom, even if Wanqing did something wrong, does she have to be beaten like this? Qin Xianglian was so angry that she was shaking all over. Your grandson is a grandson, but your granddaughter is not a granddaughter? I know you don't like me because I gave birth to 2 daughters and my eldest sister-in-law gave birth to a son. But what Wanqing has done for the family over the years has not only brought her merits but also hard work. Big Brother's family is all using their power for personal gain, and only Wanqing is devoting herself to the family. Don't you think this is too unfair to our family? Xu Wanqing looked at her mother in disbelief, but Qin Xianglian pulled her over to protect her and zipped up her skirt. No, we're not getting married. Mom wants you to marry a good family. I don't want you to die because of getting married. I'm not getting married either. Those shocking wounds made Qin Xianglian wake up suddenly. Especially the original scar, it is obviously a cigarette scar. Yes, she really wanted her daughter to become a successful person and live an upper-class life. But she didn't want her daughter to be abused every day after getting married. Although Xu Jianhong is a coward, he is very good to himself. Mom. Xu Wanqing's eyes were red. Qin Xianglian, you have to think carefully about what will happen if you anger the Zhu family. Huang Jing stood up, shaking with anger. When the time comes, there will be no place for our Xu family in the East China Sea, and your family will have no chance of having a good life. Why, do you still want to rely on that useless security guard? You don't think that Miss Yang can protect you just by saying a few words for him, do you? The old lady of the Xu family also said angrily, I am not dead yet, it is not your turn to decide whether to marry or not. You have to marry whether you want to or not. Qin Xianglian was forced into a corner. After their anger, they have to face a problem. That's money. Without the support of the Xu family, how would I get food, clothing, housing and transportation? How much is Wanru's tuition and living expenses? What if Zhu Haoran deals with them? After the impulse, what was left for her was a series of problems that she needed to face. Leave Zhu Haoran to me. As long as I, Zhang Dong, am still alive, I will not let any of you get hurt. Zhang Dong said solemnly, my family has a house in the suburbs. Although it's not big, it can be used as a shelter. Give me some time, and I will definitely improve everyone's living conditions. Huang Jing felt as if she had heard a huge joke. Zhang Dong, who gave you the courage to say such a thing? The eldest lady of the Yang family. Regardless of whether Zhu Haoran is the eldest grandson of the Zhu family, he will definitely be a capable man in front of the eldest lady of the Yang family in the future, and his relationship with her will be much closer than yours. You'd better go wherever it's cooler. Aunt, although Zhang Dong doesn't have the status and power that Zhu Haoran has, I believe he is no worse than Zhu Haoran. Xu Wanqing said firmly, our family may not die without the Xu family, but the Xu family will definitely not survive without us. You can try to see if Zhu Haoran will give you this face. Huang Jing's face was dark. She knew very well that without Xu Wanqing and Xu Wanru, Zhu Haoran would definitely turn against her. The Xu family will definitely be destroyed by him. Mom, did you hear that? This is the granddaughter you have devoted so much effort to raise. The old lady of the Xu family was so angry that she was shaking all over. Xu Wanqing, I just want to ask you one question, do you still recognize me as your grandmother? If you still do, then listen to me and call Haoran now and ask him to come pick you up. If you don't acknowledge me, I will treat you as my granddaughter, and whether I live or die has nothing to do with you.